Welcome back, everyone. This is episode 145 of the Jiu-Jitsu Dummies podcast. We are brought to you by Black Belt Digital Marketing. Anything you need to build your business on or offline, website design, Google Ads, graphic design, printing, we can absolutely help. Check us out at Black Belt Digital Marketing on Instagram or our website, bbdigitalmarketing.com. You can request a free review of your online presence right on the homepage today. My name is Milton Campus. I'm a black belt training out of South Florida. We got Christian behind the camera. We got Bo behind the other camera. Woo-hoo. Don't forget to like, comment, download, share, click that subscribe button. We appreciate all the support. Joining us today, we have Monique and Bruce from Ohana Jiu Jitsu in Plantation, Florida.
What's up, everyone?
Welcome, guys. Thank you for doing this.
Thank you.
Give me a couple of minutes. We're going to do some shout outs, some sponsor shout outs, talk about Academy Safe, and we'll, again, feel free to jump in. So we are also brought to you by academysafe.org. Academy Safe is a nonprofit whose mission is to help clean up martial arts by advocating for background checks and safe sport certifications for all coaches and staff members at every academy throughout the United States. So full disclosure, I am the founder and executive director of Academy Safe. Rob Ingram, the founder of McDojo Life. We all know McDojo, right? Those crazy videos that we always see. He's been doing this way longer than me, but we got together and we're going to try to clean some of this mess up. He is the executive VP, and together we're going to completely change the way people find and vet martial arts academies, really by providing a registry online, a website registry of Academy Safe certified gyms around the country. So there'll be things besides the background checks and the safe sport. You know, we're going to look at CPR and first aid certifications. Do you have security cameras, belt verifications for the owner and head coaches, right? So some things may keep you off of the site, but pretty much if you can pass the safe sport, if you do the safe sport certification and the background checks, you'll be able to be on the site. And then these other things will show like a check mark or an X, you know, we'll say you've got this or you don't have these other things. As somebody that had a heart attack when I'm 51 now, had a heart attack at 43. I want to see a defibrillator in the gym. I noticed that my building that I live in, there are defibrillators everywhere. I got to get on them because it looks like they put them in, but I don't know that they're charging, like they're properly charged. It's a relatively new building.
If it's not charged, it's not going to work.
Yeah. So I'm like, oh, defibrillators everywhere. But like you could just see like the paperwork over the top of it. It doesn't look like it's even been touched. But I look for that. I really do look for that. I even, you know, my last academy, I was just like, bro, listen, you know, he got a defibrillator, right? So I was happy about that. So, you know, there are going to be lots of things that we're going to be looking at, but the most important things what we're trying to do is keep out the creepers, right? We're trying to keep out the people that are hiding the fact that they have either, you know, felonies, sexual assault, you know, domestic violence. You know, we want to keep them out of the academies, all right, or at least get them on the map. We're not going to charge the academies, right? So we need the community's help, right? We're going to make this a free website for the academies. We will ask the academy probably like they'll pay for their own background checks and their safe sport certifications. You're talking about a background check is $35 and safe sport I think is $25. I believe they're changing it, but I believe it's $25 right now. Not a lot to have each coach, right? $35 and $25 for each coach to get on the list and, you know, be certified safe. So we did start a GoFundMe. We just launched it yesterday. This will come out next week, but we just launched it yesterday. The GoFundMe will be in the description wherever you're listening. So great if you can donate, but absolutely share. Please share the GoFundMe link on your social media. Tell all your martial arts friends, you know, help us out, get this started, and we can, you know, do our part in cleaning this up.
Definitely.
Okay?
Is this just for gyms in South Florida, or are you guys trying to do
nationwide?
across the US?
We're trying to do nationwide, and we're trying to do all academy. We're trying to do all of martial arts. We probably know a little bit more about the jiu-jitsu side of things because we're in South Florida. There have been some crazy things that have happened here.
Left and right.
A lot.
Yeah. Woo, I got a list.
Yeah. Too many.
Yeah. So we know jiu-jitsu, and I mean, I haven't been in another martial art since I was like 19. I was like at a YMCA, and there was like me and my best friend at the time were the kids in the class.
I did karate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't know as much like intimately of what's gone on in those other than like watching like McDojo Life and seeing this stuff come out or seeing it on the news. That stabbing that happened recently, right? It was like a student with a jiu-jitsu coach. But, you know, I feel like jiu-jitsu seems to be the most intimate of martial arts.
The most familiar too for us.
Yeah, but no, I'm saying like, you know, men training with women, men training with children.
Personal. I mean,
yeah, you're like,
no such thing as personal space anymore.
Yeah, you're completely. You know, we're touching, and you're my legs are wrapped around you. My hands hitting a boob. You know, like all that stuff. We know that happens. And I think because of that intimacy on the mat, sometimes it creates this maybe unrealistic intimacy, perceived intimacy by coaches off the mat, or that they can act a certain way because we were just on the mat laying on top of each other. I think that there's a false sense of some whatever they think is going on off the mat, right?
Unfortunately, that's the reality.
And people that aren't healthy here take that and run with it. And I think that McDojo posted about probably about a month ago now. There was a 45-year-old instructor. At least he worked in the academy. I'm not sure if he was an actual instructor, but he was an employee of the academy, 45, having a relationship with a 14-year-old girl.
Yeah, I saw
It's
that.
sad, but not
And
surprised.
he's telling her, like, hey, we'll be able to come out with our relationship when, tell the world when you're 18.
Oh my
It's
God.
called
So-
grooming. That's exactly what it's called. It's called grooming.
But that's also somebody I think who's sick, right? That person,
Absolutely.
if he
Mental
really
illness.
believes that this is okay and like, well, let's just get through the next 4 years and we're going to be fine.
We're gonna
Like,
be fine. We're gonna come out loud and proud. Hey,
yeah, it's crazy. I mean, I can go, my
I know
personal.
the cure.
it's absolutely disgusting.
I know the cure.
Do you want to go? Do you want to go into your cure?
No.
No.
But I know it. Hit me on Instagram.
Yeah.
This is not for the podcast.
Yeah, he told me. He told me when I was at the academy the other day. So we've had a lot of interest. I started a waiting list because people are like, how do I get on this list? How do I get onto
That's
your
amazing.
website? So we started a waiting list. You can email me directly at milton@academysafe.org, not .com. All right, send your academy name, the owner or the decision maker of the gym, mobile number of that same person, decision maker or owner, and an email address along with the physical address of the academy. We're going to start there, and then we'll start to let people know how we're going to do this and what we're going to do. I actually work within a platform that has something like it's for ads on Google, but they kind of have what we need, the process in place, including somebody can log on, click on a link to a company called Evident who does the background checks, and then it actually like in green it would show I have my license in, I have my insurance, I have this. So like there's a kind of a format that we can kind of look at and say, oh, this is what we could do here. When I showed it to the board this week during our first board meeting, they were like, all right, this makes sense. So if we can kind of copy that format that Google's using for like this ads program that they have, but it's exactly that. They're trying to weed out bad, like you're an electrician, right? So like, there's this product called local service ads that an electrician, painters, roofers can get on this program, and it's a pay-per-call program, right? So you have to submit for a background check. You have to submit your license. You have to submit your insurance. But then you go down this list of things you have to do, and you do not show up on the site until all of those things are green. So like that kind of format and being able to, most importantly, to show it to the public. Now I can live with somebody, not everyone in an academy not having like their first aid certification.
Right.
I can live with that. Maybe even live with the defibrillators not on premises, although I believe like in Florida, you guys maybe know better than me. I think it's a requirement.
It is a requirement.
It's a requirement,
Yes, it
right?
is.
So I know not all gyms have
Yes,
it,
it
and I
is
don't
a
know how they get.
requirement.
I don't know how they get past
Capital R.
Yeah. So how do the like is it the health department who
Health
comes out and
department.
inspects, or is it the fire department?
Fire.
When they,
I believe it's
Fire,
fire
yeah.
in Broward.
fire, yeah. So they usually come out and check. So like the fire department's been in my building a million times
Right.
because we're right down there by City Hall and all the new construction. So they're constantly checking on us, and they're putting in retail downstairs. So the fire department's always there. And I'm
on
like,
site.
have they seen these defibrillators? Like what I've seen, like that defibrillator's not charged. Like I'm wondering why nobody sees it. But I'm pretty sure, like, yeah, it's the fire department, right? They come in and check that. How do people get past that, though? I know that not every gym has a defibrillator.
No, not every gym has a defibrillator. Not at all.
But how
It goes under the radar.
Is it just one of those things like, hey, you got to have this next time, but they're not closing you down because of it?
I think so. I think quite simply it comes down to, and what happens in a lot of the world is if somebody doesn't do their job, those kind of things go through the cracks, and then before you know it, you're compiled with something.
Yeah.
Because just one person let it slip or just
Yeah.
didn't do what they were supposed to do.
Okay. So again, look, I gave you the information there on the on my email to get on the waiting list. So it's going to be. We're really trying to change again. We know this is going to be an uphill battle. We're not going to get every academy. We also know that. But if we can give people a place to look and see, like, oh, Plantation, Florida. Oh, these are the academies that are listed as Academy Safe. Okay, these are probably going to be my best choices.
Definitely.
And we're doing that work for you, and it's going to be annual. And then we'll give them a certification sticker for the window, certified 2025. Academy Safe. So we're going to do a lot. So we really don't want to burden the gyms with the cost. So I have to say it again, like we need the public, we need martial artists and people that care about this to donate or share. And if we can get enough donations in, we can really do this. Now, I should say, I'm doing this with or without the donations. So if I have to self-fund this, I will, but it's going to be difficult, right? So right now I have self-funded.
We gotta get the word out there.
If we can get people, if we can get people to help, it's going to make it easier and faster. And then again, with Rob's help, Rob from McDojo, I mean, he's like been the most vocal about these things forever, but he hasn't been able to, like, he's only one person to do the, okay, what's next? And now what? I've outed these people. What do I do now? And I think I didn't mention this, and I'm sorry that I didn't, but I might have said it briefly, but like also we want to check on belts. We want to check on who's giving you your belt. If it's
you can go on Amazon and you can grab a black belt, but in South Florida, you kind of know who's who. You go to tournaments all the time, you see who's who, like you know who's who.
But in Iowa,
exactly. So yeah, that's
places
different.
where it's few and far.
Yeah, you don't know.
Yeah, right. It tends to be, those are the places where it tends to be like, who the frick is that guy? He's black belt. Nobody knows who he is, but nobody's even thinking about it out there, right?
Of course.
I know there's if you go to, I believe it's beltchecker.com, and forgive me, I hope my information isn't off, but the guy that started BJJ Globetrotters started that website. We interviewed him, and I believe if I go back in my mental filing cabinet, that is his site. He's part of that. And you can log in there. And I would suggest it for anybody because it just gives you additional exposure as well. Anything that leads back to you is good. But you can put your name, and then you can get your coach that gave you your black belt or any belt along the ride. And yes, I gave him the blue. I gave him the purple. Maybe you go to another school. Hey, can you go on there? So now if he's already on there and certified, now he's on there as like a member. And he can say, yeah, I did give them that belt, correct, and then it shows that you're certified. So we've got to figure out if we're going to use something like that, or if we're just going to like self-verify, which becomes a little bit more difficult. Then we need staff and we need admins and things like that.
A lot of digging.
If we can look at something like that, but I mean, it's as simple as showing the picture of your graduation. And if it's somebody famous, we know it's like, okay, this is quite obvious. Versus, I got my black belt over Amazon. I'm out here in Iowa. Here's my thing, like or here's my certificate. Okay, but who gave you that certificate?
Certificate came from Amazon too.
Yeah, I know. It's just like
or Tamu.
It could be anything. So we're really trying to change the game. I feel like anybody that I've spoken to about it is like, this is a great idea. And if we can get to a place where, does this turn into us advocating for, a lot of people have asked us, does this turn into us advocating for like the government to step in, and everybody seems to be against that. Like, oh God, government oversight and checking this stuff. Yeah, it's just like, they haven't done anything since martial arts been around. I don't think that there's any locale, any government in the U.S. at all that's for like checking your belt or making you get a background check. It doesn't exist in our world. So we just want to make it the norm.
Absolutely.
Like if we do this and do it right, people will, when they go to a gym, even if they're not asking if their academy safe, if they just ask, do you do background checks on all of your staff? That's it. You guys know John Way, right?
Yes. For sure.
John Way does background checks. Yeah, right? Yeah. You guys, so, before this, he had his new help wanted ad, bullet points, must pass background check, right? Amazing. That's the way it's supposed to be done. And if we can just make that the norm, then we've kind of done our job. We want to take it further, and we want to hold people accountable because, staff comes and goes, right? People come and go, move around. Oh, wait, you moved around. Why are you moving around? What's going on? So it would be like an annual thing. So
we'll different gyms all the time. Within a couple months,
you guys see it, right?
All the time.
Yeah, it happens a lot.
Let me give these other two shout outs, and then we'll dive right into our conversation. So thank you to our friends over at Flow and Roll. Hands down the best custom gi and no-gi gear in the business. Don't believe us? Visit them on Instagram at flow_and_roll. Check out all the custom designs they've done for academies across the country. You can visit their website at flowandroll.com. Get 20% off with code JJD. That's gis, rash guards, belts, T-shirts, everything they've got. They also do a really cool pre-order program. If you guys are ever ordering, like you want to do a big order, basically what he does is just give him, it's honestly like a few $100. He puts your stuff online. Your students can go order. You tell him what you want to charge. He's going to give you the profit. But instead of you laying out thousands of dollars for gis, tops, bottoms, a no-gi, everything, your belts, whatever you want, you get your stuff on his site. He's collecting that money, yes. And then he'll either give you the profit and ship everything to your students, or you could take that profit and say now, okay, I want inventory. Put that towards my inventory. Doesn't cost you any more or less, but in that first, for like a new academy, that first payment doesn't have to be $5,000 or $10,000 to have all that stuff. So really cool for new gym owners. You can reach out to him at flowandroll@gmail.com, or there's a form when you go to his website, it pops up and you can fill out the form to request more information. So it's flowandroll.com, and the code JJD is 20% off of just your regular purchases online, not towards a pre-order. Okay. Last but not least, we have Leo Optics. My glasses there. Love these guys. Leo Optics is a sunglass and apparel company out of California, out of Southern California, right? They do these really cool bamboo sunglasses. Have you guys seen like
Very nice.
Right?
It's a black belt.
Yeah, you get a little black belt. If you blue, I don't think anybody's getting a white belt in there, but you'll do blue. They'll do blue, purple, brown. He's got a new pair coming to me. They did some new, like with those, like the polarized
lenses,
like really like the lenses. He's got a new one that he's sending me. But I love these. These are really cool. Again, you know, it's straight up bamboo. I think they've tried to do some other like plastics and things like that, but they stick with the bamboo. You could check out the website leooptics.com and get 10% off with code JJD. All right, that's it.
See, those glasses are really nice, but I've never worn sunglasses.
You don't wear sunglasses?
No, my eyes are too pretty to cover them.
How about? I want to tell you a story real quick. Do you have like the with the transitions? No. So I have a buddy in New York, 6'2", ish maybe, blue eyes. He will not wear sunglasses. He's like, I can't.
Look at my eyes.
Let me say, wait, it's that
too pretty.
Way back,
too pretty.
Way back when we were young, when we, before we were, married men and parents and things like that. That he wouldn't wear sunglasses. He's like, why am I cover these out?
You're like remembering certain things because like you're blushing, so you're thinking about certain things.
Well,
that's bringing up a memory.
Certain things right now.
For sure.
I don't want to get him in trouble. I just said like he still doesn't do it because of the girls. No, I mean he wears sunglasses all the time now.
All the time.
He's married with kids.
Okay.
No reason to.
But he absolutely. Because I would ask. I'm like always with sunglasses, and he would be like, "It's the sun is shining. We're at the beach," and he's like, "I'm covering up my friend. I'm not covering these up." Right here, this is the money shot right here, right? So, anyway, let's talk about how we met. You guys did a seminar at the new academy that I went to.
Eddie Cruz's gym.
Yep, Coral Springs Jiu-Jitsu. You guys came in. You did a really cool class. You did your Spider Guard seminar.
Love Spider Guard.
Which I think I told you for the 2 weeks after that, everyone was doing the kind of. The passing the leg underneath.
That's amazing.
Everybody was like practicing that.
Awesome.
And like people had it down. So like they were doing it during rolls and I'm just like,
love
look. So it's always nice when that happens.
There you go.
So that's at my phone after is that me? Oh, it's coming through my computer. Sorry about that.
You're fine.
No, I got to put on my do not disturb so it doesn't ring. So everybody, it's always nice to know like people are hitting the move. But tell me a little bit about how you guys know Eddie and, then we'll talk about your school and your new academy.
So I met Eddie through Bruce at a jiu-jitsu tournament, probably a new breed. But they've trained together at ATT, right?
I'd probably say I met Eddie in 2008 or 2009.
Many moves.
Eddie's a Marine, I'm a Marine. At that time, he was training Muay Thai real heavy and Judo. So he started training Jiu-Jitsu around the same time I did, just a little bit before me. And we met ATT Davey is, I believe, where we initially met.
What's the Rob? Who's the owner?
Baga.
Okay.
Baga. Yeah, Baga's been.
I think Sunrise, ATT Sunrise is like the guy that's just Rob. He's the striking coach.
No, Roger Crawl ran Sunrise.
Yeah. I met him as a white belt. He was friends with my coach, and we went and used the cage a little bit.
Oh, really?
Do some MMA and stuff.
White belts love the cage.
Yeah. We didn't have we had a small school with no cage, and we couldn't like really do anything up against the walls. We fly into the chiropractor's office.
White belts love.
We had a couple of guys that were going to actually take some fights, and so we went to the cage to play. But go ahead. But
no, I've just known Eddie since that long. Very like-minded individual. He's a Marine, old school Marine too. So he believes in combat preparedness.
Yeah.
Something's very important to me. Being in the military, it kind of changes your perspective on things, whether you have or haven't done anything. It makes you look at people, scenarios, and the possibilities that are there a little bit differently. So Eddie's big on the combat readiness, and that's the part I always liked.
So you're talking about even in like his daily life now. I know I've seen Monique. I've been shooting with him. Yeah, right.
Yeah. So I wanted to get a little better. No matter how many times I've shot, I'm just terrified still.
Yeah.
So
Of what?
just like the gun going off, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
So at the seminar, we were talking. He's like, hey, you know, like whenever you're ready, you can come with me. He's a shooting instructor, really good. So I'm like, yeah, let's, you know, do it. So normally when I go with friends, you know, it's more like, you know, like it's playful. You're not really taking it seriously. Is that your phone again?
No, I
You're
don't know
fine.
what that is.
For the record, I always take it seriously.
Sorry about that, guys.
So when I went with Eddie, it's like we spent the most time at a range that I've ever shot. We spent like 2.5 hours shooting.
Okay.
And I kind of felt like I was, you know, like in school and stuff, but it was really good.
Okay.
You know? He's just somebody that just makes you feel super comfortable,
Yeah.
comfortable. You know, at the end of our session, I was like, wow, I'm like, this is amazing. And
Yeah.
we did it again. And we have another session set up for September, I think.
Do you know the name? I want to give him a proper shout out. The name of the company. Is it like Cruise something or other?
Coral Springs?
Cruise Tactical, I think.
Oh,
Cruise. Is it Cruise Tactical?
I believe so.
Okay.
you can check on Instagram.
Yeah, I'm gonna look up real quick. I know I always see him on Facebook.
I believe it's Cruise Tactical. I could be wrong.
But go ahead. So you've been doing that with him. You feel a lot better now?
I feel a lot better. I feel a lot more comfortable.
Yeah.
You know, a lot more comfortable. Like I said, 2.5 hours, 3 hours of straight shooting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I hope to.
And just watching him, it's like watching him and just sitting back. I'm like, this guy's amazing.
I have 2 weapons that I have yet to shoot.
Oh, really?
I bought an AR.
Ooh.
It's sitting under my bed. I haven't even like unstrapped it from like the packaging.
Very bad man.
Yes.
Why is that?
Because I do want. I'm smart enough to know that I don't want to. I don't know a lot about guns.
Okay.
I have 2 pistols and then the
Eddie's
AR.
your guy.
I want somebody to be like, okay, this is what we do from the very beginning, like, you know. But I've shot my one of my handguns, one handgun I haven't shot either, and I've just been like waiting for somebody. I have, you know, I've met people in jiu-jitsu, right? We meet people that have military backgrounds and shoot, but I really wanted somebody to like really like, okay, look, down to the like minute details of like, you do this and don't do this, and you know, and I know some of it's you know, obvious, but I'm smart enough to know that I don't know everything.
Absolutely.
I'm not going to make assumptions or learn on YouTube. But you know, I've shot other guns, and I've shot, you know, shotguns and machine guns and ARs and things that people have like. My first coach brought me to shoot. He was in the military, and he was a cop, and he had tons of toys. I just, you know, right around was it I guess towards the end of COVID. Not even towards the end of the COVID. It was like a year ago. I'm sorry. It's about a year ago that I bought the AR. I think it was more because I'm like, are they going to ban it? Let me get it. Let me get
Everybody
it now.
had that. Everybody's like, yeah.
I think it was
Let me
more
burn my
that.
guns in the backyard.
Yeah.
You know?
I bought a bunch of ammunition at the end of COVID because it was like everything was always out. Walmart, where I used to go get ammunition, you know, when I was going to go shoot, stop at Walmart, get some cheap stuff or whatever, and then go. And then Walmart stopped selling ammunition. And I'm like, then.
It used to be so cheap there.
Online, it's like go online and like everything's always out of stock, and I'm just like, oh my god, what are people stocking up for? I guess I have to too, right? So
Didn't you stand in line for bullets when you went to Aces?
I didn't stand in line. People were standing
Okay.
in line, but I didn't stand in line.
yeah.
There was a line.
Yeah.
I wasn't in it.
Yeah. So I started there a little bit more than a month ago.
Okay.
You know, I saw a little sign. I'm like, I pointed at it, and then he mentioned some of the guys were like, yeah, you should, you know, talk. I'm like, oh, this is perfect. So I haven't been training a lot because
You're
I have
injured, right?
something going on. Either I have a hernia. I thought I pulled like a groin muscle because it was like shooting down my leg. It's no longer shooting down my leg, but I feel it under my belly. And like, you know, you sneeze, like
Everything hurts.
I have to like push it in.
It's
and
like when like
sneeze.
your rib is bruised. You sneeze and it's like, oh my God.
Yeah,
So
those ribs.
I've had this before and it's gone away, and it kind of feels like it's on this side now, but it's the same pain, and I know it's gone away, but I don't know. I think it's been so long. I believe I had an MRI for something else, but then they kind of like scanned my whole my chest down, and they were like, "You're good. You have no problems here." So I'm
Right.
like, "Okay, good. I don't have a hernia," but I know there's something going on there. So I'm like, I don't know. Am I going to go for another MRI? Is it something that just goes away? I know that other people have had
Are
it.
you resting?
No, of course not.
See, that's the thing about jiu-jitsu. It's
It'll
like
go away if you're resting.
you go to the doctor. I'm a nurse.
Yeah.
So it's like if I injure something and I go to the doctor, it's like
Doc, it hurts when I do this.
it's like
right?
they already tell me. It's like you know what you got to do. Stop training. Am I going to listen? No.
Yeah.
But then I complain like, oh, it hurts. I wonder why it hurts. Because I'm still training.
Let me say, I'm not doing jiu-jitsu. I am lifting and doing things that, like, if I feel it in my belly, I won't do that thing. So I'm holding back from that. A lot of walking. I'm doing a lot of walking on the treadmill. I have a dog, so I walk the dog a lot. So I just make sure I take some extended walks. When I started with Eddie, my shoulder was the problem. I was like, listen, you know, I could roll. Rolling feels okay. As long as nobody stretches my arm straight up, I'm going to be okay. So I went in there with that injury, but I've had that for years. Right. But it's just been bad lately. And then the first open mat I went to, I had some big dude on me, and I tried to explode, and I was just, oh man, and so it's like from week 1 at the new school, I haven't really been able to train. So I've helped, like I went to your school and did some instruction, and there, like I'll help. The
they
black
loved it,
belts
by
out.
the way.
Yeah.
Oh my God, they loved it.
Thank you.
We changed it Tuesday for no gi. We made sure we covered the same thing. Yeah. And then Wednesday night for gi, I tested him on it.
Yeah, awesome. And that's the north side. That's nothing was gi related in that in that move at all. Other than maybe
easily.
You can hold on to the pant when you're kind of, you know, when you're here and you're holding the pant so that they don't do that backward roll on top of you. But other than that, I mean, you could still hold like the hip a little bit. So it's really like gi, no gi. Yeah. So I'm glad they liked it.
They loved it.
Yeah, they loved it. That was awesome. Good. They
loved it.
I got some video, and I gotta send it to you.
Yes, please.
I got some video. I'll send it to you.
Very cool. That's like I mean, I've done like you know, my old school wasn't big. Like there's one chief. That's it.
Gotcha.
There's one voice. Nobody ever comes in and coaches. Nobody was given the floor. When I went over to Coral Springs Jiu-Jitsu, the first Thursday I was there, Garth was teaching, and he was just like, hey, do you want to show anything? I was like, I've got a great variation off of what I love. When I was a white belt, white and blue at my first school, I coached. I coached the kids class. I coached with the coach. He was in law enforcement, and sometimes he would just be out and couldn't open. So I was in my 40s. I wasn't a kid. So I was like, had the keys to the place. I'd open with his wife. I'd do the kids class. Everybody trusted me. Again, like I love teaching and coaching and business and this. So like I'm right in my element. So I've coached before. Right. And even, you know, showed good moves. You know, again, I was a 6-day-a-week guy when I first started. I was just like every 2 hours a day for 6 days a week. My girlfriend, who became my wife at the time, was just like, really? 6 days? Really? Every day? You got to do this every day? You can't take a day off? No. Sunday. Yeah, Sundays. I'm home. So I loved coaching. So like I am comfortable doing it. But at my school, my last school, there was it was just like there's one voice. And you know, if like after class when like the little people break off and like somebody might show something, the coaches, let me hold on, let me show you well, why would you do that? Do this, do my thing that falls in line with my jiu-jitsu, which I just thought was completely the complete antithesis of what should be happening. You should be like, show your move, show your favorite move. I told you that north-south that I showed you guys. No, I have never been. I never ever had a coach teach me that move. I learned that move at white belt. I laid on a guy's face. He tapped because he was getting suffocated by my belly.
Were you like, what did I do? What did I do?
Yeah, kind of didn't. I'm like, why is this guy tapping? You know, we're in north-south position. My stomach's on his face. Somebody said, oh wow, it was great north-south, and I'm like. Went home, north-south. I'm like, oh, I didn't even know what I was doing. You know, I've laid on people and like just been in that position, but usually I'm going to transition.
People just sitting on me, and I'm like, because you can't breathe.
You can like you kind of wind up there, and then you know you maybe transition to something or the north-south choke. So I found the north-south choke. Really, just found out that was Marcelo Garcia's move, and just like found every video of him anytime he's ever taught that
amazing.
Move. And then I told you guys, it's the truth. It's the only BJJ Fanatics video that I've ever purchased. Not that I steal the rest of them. I never purchased any of them. That's the only BJJ Fanatics video that I've ever purchased. And I just like watched it a million times. And it was just like just the little tiny details. And then it just, you know, you kind of make it your own. But nobody's ever instructed me to do that. So that's why I think like
you fell into it.
Let your students go off on the side. And, you know, as long as, you know, there's not a purple belt teaching a white belt, you know, 1 month in, you know, heel hooks in the corner, which I'm not the biggest fan of. like, unless that's happening, like, let them do their thing. Number one, you're letting that purple belt kind of get his stripes, literally get his stripes on like teaching and see how he coaches, and maybe that guy can actually do something, and maybe he can help with the class, and you kind of let them do their thing. I mean, that's what this is supposed to be. It's like passing on knowledge.
It's
that
progression.
was not good in my old school.
It's progression. I don't understand why people would be like that, because the fact of the matter is, jiu-jitsu doesn't, first of all, it doesn't belong to any one person. Number one. Number two, you talked about intimacy before. To me, jiu-jitsu is the most personal relationship you can have with a martial art, simply because not every technique is going to work for every person.
Unlock the power of your online presence with Black Belt Digital Marketing. Their reputation management program ensures your Google business profile is seen by more potential customers. Black Belt Digital Marketing is your full-service digital marketing agency specializing in local SEO and reputation management. Boost your business today. Visit bbdigitalmarketing.com. Your success is their priority.
Miss your morning routine, BioPro.
Special thank you to the crew over at Flow and Roll for all their support. Flow and Roll is renowned for their incredible no-gi rash guards, shorts, and leggings. Flow and Roll has quickly become the premier custom apparel provider for academies big and small throughout the United States. Reach out today to discuss your custom order and ask about their incredible pre-order program. You can send an email to flowandroll@gmail.com or visit their Instagram at flow_n_roll and shoot them a direct message. And yes, they can create an awesome custom gi for your academy as well. Visit flowandroll.com to check out their awesome designs, and while you're there, pick up a Jiu-Jitsu Dummies signature tee exclusively at flowandroll.com. And remember, you'll get 20% off your purchase of t-shirts, rash guards, or gis with code JJD.
Okay, in a striking art, you can really kind of teach somebody, hey, throw the kick. Hey, throw the kick. You can completely teach them, but with jiu-jitsu, you have to have an element of, at a certain point, where you understand what's going on so that you can dissect what's going on, what you're doing, and apply it elsewhere. Because if you can't do that, then you really don't know jiu-jitsu. You just know the moves that you've drilled. You know?
Yeah.
This grip's useful here. No, this grip's terrible here, but I can use it over there. And then right there, it's amazing. You know? And if you don't get into skirmishes, if you don't get exposed to other people, if you're not questioning the people that are beating you, if you're not
asking questions,
if you're not questioning, you know, the higher belts, if you're not questioning the lower belt, how did you escape? What did you do that was different? How to escape? If you're not learning, you have to know the elements of this. It's not just knowing a move. It's not knowing moves, knowing why that move works, why manipulating the wrist and the elbow separates the scapula. You got to know these things. It doesn't just say, oh, if you know that, then you can apply techniques, you can apply submissions from everywhere.
I mean, I think, you know, we should be, like, I encourage people here, go to other schools.
I think it's important.
You should not be waiting. You should not be waiting for permission. I think at white belt, maybe stay at the same place.
That's the old school mentality,
Okay.
though. You know, like, you can't train at other gyms.
Yeah.
It's, you know, it's like a gang. It's like Bloods or Crips. It's like, if you dare step foot into like another gym, you're going to be in some serious trouble. And, you know, that's a mentality that some of these old school guys have. To me, I think it's healthy to go to different gyms and interact, and, you know, you
So
could be
how
doing
would
the
you-
same
how-
arm bar at your old gym, but I'm like, is it going to work here? I'm like, oh, it doesn't work. And then mentally, you're like, I have to make this adjustment because it's not working.
As an instructor, do you want your student to tell you, like, hey, I'm going to this school? Do you care? I used to tell people this. I'd be like, you shouldn't have to ask permission, but you should probably tell your coach so he doesn't see you on Instagram later at another school and go, are you still my student? Are you leaving? What's going on here?
I think as a white belt, I want my white belt to stay in my gym to sort of hone their basic skills. But blue balling up, hey coach, I'm gonna go here and I'm gonna do their open mat. There's nothing wrong with that. You know, you don't have to necessarily ask permission, but it's like, hey, I'm on a Saturday, I'm gonna go up here and I'm gonna roll with these guys here. You know?
Okay.
Cool.
And just to give Eddie his proper shout out, I've been trying to scroll through and find his thing. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
So
You're
it's
fine.
his Instagram is Eddie Ninja Cruz.
Yeah.
CRUZ.
The ninja.
Check him out on Instagram. I was looking through the Coral Springs page because I know he has it's like Cruise Tactical something or
believe
other.
it's Cruise
I
Tactical.
apologize that I don't have it. I don't see it doesn't have it here, but you know where he probably has it on the website. I'll try to find it while we're talking.
Okay.
But
Sounds good.
there it is. Cruise Tactics and Defense.
Cruise
And if
Tactics
you go
and
to coralspringsbjj.com, you'll see he's got a tab there. There we go. All right, so we got that in.
So as far as going over to other gyms, like things like that. Okay, so first of all, at the end of the day, we're a community, right? Now, if you look at, and people take stats and bullshit stats and they make things up, but if you look at the numbers of how many people are registered black belts, in the country, so you'll see that it's not a big community. It's a small community. And everybody talks about, we need our community to grow. How the hell is it going to grow if we're not allowed to go outside?
Yeah. I mean, I feel like that, I think that thought process is almost dead. It's like, yeah, the old school guys.
The old school guys are set in their ways because, again, that's what I came up with. It's like, you know, this is your home, this is that, and, you don't want to step on like anyone's toes and make somebody feel bad,
Yeah.
But it's like, if you want your jiu-jitsu to evolve, you want to compete, it's healthy to build those relationships. Just because you're a shark in your own school, you go somewhere else, it may not work. And that's when you go back to the drawing board and say, okay, I got to adjust this move because it's not working here.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And for me, it's like, I started with like my favorite move thus far are footlocks. Footlocking everyone.
I saw it the other night.
So, right? So I went to another school. I'm like,
yeah, you had somebody like in a figure
Yeah.
fight. I thought you were like WWE over here.
that's
You're
my
like,
thing, And then I'm like, shit, it's not working.
Yeah.
I'm like, why isn't this working?
But
It works
I
on
love
everybody
when
here.
it doesn't. I love when it doesn't
Yeah,
work. I love when
so
somebody makes me have to
I
go.
had to go back
Shit.
and
I
make
go back to the drawing board and
I
like
had to
figure
go
this
back and
out.
make the adjustments. I'm like, what am I doing here that they're tapping and they're not tapping here? Like, what am I doing?
Sometimes it's just like the littlest, tiniest
I'm at work
thing,
and I'm like
right?
looking at the video. I'm like, I'm like, like what's going on? So I'm doing my research and it's only going to make me better.
But you guys forget, if you guys, listen, if you're having a problem with submission, at the very end, you can't get it, just stick your thumb in their eye. That's it. Works every time. In the eye.
So let's take a step back. Let's talk about, and both of you can answer this question. We'll start with you, Bruce. How did you find martial arts? Did you tell me you were a kid? Everybody has like the I did Taekwondo when I was a kid story, but tell me how you found martial arts, and then Monique will talk. We'll ask you the same question.
Okay, so growing up, I must have been like 8, 9 years old. It was my brother, my cousins, and myself. There's 4 of us. And we used to run around the house just beating the shit out of each other. And then my dad was just like, you know what? I've had enough. And he took us down to the school. Now, my dad's from Asia, my dad's from Vietnam, so he's old school too. And when he brought us down to the school, it was Sifu Andy Chung. It was in Hollywood. He took us in there and said, listen, you're from Asia. I'm from these are American boys, but treat them like they're not, So we used to get the piss beat out of us. Like we used to get hit with the shin eye in the back, on the inner thigh when our stance was, like all this stuff. And the other kids didn't get beat like the way we did. And we noticed it. And I noticed it because I saw my dad say, hey, go beat the shit out of my kids.
Yeah.
But we came up that way. It's how I met John Wei, actually. He was, Sifu Andy was his Sifu also. John Wei was older than me by a couple years, and he was what they call the Sihing, the older brother. And so he substituted, did a lot of the classes if our Sifu wasn't there or whatnot. So I did that. I went through high school doing that, and then in high school I got with a group of guys that were doing capoeira in Fort Lauderdale. And those same guys were wrestlers on the team in high school. So I got with them, we started doing capoeira, and then we did some wrestling in high school. I practiced with the team there for a little bit. I never competed at it in high school, but I was in practices most every day with them. And then after practice, we'd go in the football field and flip around for a little bit, So after that, I left to the Marine Corps.
How long were you in the Marines?
4 years. 4 years. I left.
Did your contract and get out? Essentially, right? You sign up for X amount of time, and then.
So I actually have a unique experience. I had a scenario where my stepdad went into a coma. He had a thoracic aneurysm.
Oh wow.
I had just signed a re-enlistment because I was going to re-enlist as a recruiter, come back home to Broward and put some people in the Marine Corps. And because of the subject of what was going on, my mom was disabled. She couldn't work, yada, yada, yada. The Red Cross got involved. And then before you know it, I was just detached from my unit and I was in Atlanta. And then days later, I found myself attached to the recruiting command in Atlanta because I said, hey, you just signed up to be a recruiter. You just reenlisted to be a recruiter. You know, we can put you here and you can just work. So I did that for like 8 or 9 months. And then during that time frame, the Red Cross was updating the Marine Corps through the program that I forget what the program was called, hardship program, whatever. And as they were updating the Marine Corps, they were saying, listen, he can't go back to the fleet. So a certain time frame comes along where if you're not trainable and not deployable, then you're no good to the Marine Corps. Mm-hmm. So basically, I got my discharge there. It was a hardship discharge. It was nothing as a negative mark or anything like that. It's just called a hardship discharge, which canceled my reenlistment, and it canceled like a lot of chances of my future reenlistment, because they say, you know, this is a condition that him being the only one that can take care of the parents could fall back on him. So there's no point in sending him back out. So
you would have been on for another 4 years?
Yeah, I literally reenlisted for another 4 years.
Did you look at it? You were going to be a career Marine?
I didn't know at that time. I was good at recruiting. I'd been home a couple times on recruiting assistance. I'm sure you were in high school in New York, so you saw the kids coming home after boot camp or after being with their unit for the holidays or whatnot. I was really good at it. So the command was like, hey, listen, you know, if you want to come back and do this, you know, put in your application to reenlist, and if they accept you, we'll call you. So I would have been back down to Fort Lauderdale. So that was the plan, but it just didn't go that way.
And then when do you find jiu-jitsu in there?
So after I got out, I found jiu-jitsu, let me see, it was maybe 2-3 years after I got out. I got out of the Marine Corps and gained like 40 pounds.
Had you done any type of training? I know they have they have their tactics.
I did in the Marine Corps,
right?
but to be honest, it's not really that much to talk about, to be very real with you. At the time, they got rid of what they called line training. We called it line training. I don't know why they called it that. And they replaced it with block training.
Line training?
Yeah, like a straight.
Or like line training?
No, like a straight line.
Okay, gotcha.
Like a straight line. And then
I didn't think it was the rawr.
And then they replaced it with what they called block training. And then after that, they had this new Marine Corps martial arts program. That's got a belt system. And
oh, yeah?
Yeah, it's built on MMA is what I would say. People would say it's built on like the old system of what judo is, the real jiu-jitsu, you know, like the combat
non-sport
jiu-jitsu
or judo.
And so, but if you look at it, that's basically what modern MMA is, really, if you look at it. So that's what it's really based off of. But I didn't get too involved into that stuff. Then when I got out, I gained weight. I don't know if I ran into one of the guys at John Way, you know, and they made fun of me for being a fat ass. And so I was like, all right,
that'll do it.
Yeah. And so I came in, started doing, you know, kung fu with them for a little bit, and then John started offering American Top Team Jiu-Jitsu with Baga. And so I was like, I tried it. And after that I was like, no, I'm not striking. I'm not punching a person in my life ever. Forget crushing my hand.
I tell right, you either love it or you hate it.
I tell
There's
people
no
that all
in between.
The time.
There's nobody that's like the casual jiu-jitsu guy that's like, I'll go in for one class a month.
Your first class, you'll know.
You can't do it.
Yeah, either you're in or you're out.
Yeah. I tell people I knew I loved it before I even stepped on the mat. I did wrestle a little bit in junior high, so I understood kind of like what I was getting into and being the sweating on each other and all that stuff. So like none of that scared me, which I think some people are like, ugh, God,
yeah, the gross factor.
The soaking wet, like I don't know, sweat dripping in my eye. But I had like done some stand up and done some training, and when I went there, the second I stepped on the mat, I'm like, I am freaking home. This is like I've been missing this. So fast forward. So you meet John
like
Way,
2008.
Baga. Okay.
That was like 2008.
Okay.
When I started that. Then 2010, I left John's. I went to American Top Team Miramar. Trained with Wilson. Got Wilson Gove. Got all my belts.
I'm talking to his son about getting him on. His son reached out, like, you should have my dad on, and I'm like, let's do it. And he's like, we were talking about dates.
Yeah, junior. So yeah, I got all my belts under Wilson from 2009 to present day.
All right. Now I want you to tell me also. Okay, when did you guys meet? You give me the relationship side of this story.
Okay.
As well.
Well, you asked the martial arts side. So
I did.
You asked the martial arts side first?
I was gonna stop. No, I was gonna stop you at that point because I rather hear from the woman because she'll tell the real story of how you guys met.
A lot of people think that I started doing jiu-jitsu because of him.
Okay.
Not true.
She did.
Not true.
So we'll round it out with that.
She saw me in there.
So
guys.
my story's not nearly as interesting. Growing up with a bunch of boy cousins, you know, they're watching Bruce Lee movies and stuff. I told my mom, like, hey, like, I want to do this. No, you can't do it. So
That's for
maybe
boys. That's for
yeah,
boys.
Exactly.
That's
You're
for
a
boys.
girl.
I'm
Yeah.
a girl, you know. I was never a girly girl. I
Yeah.
wanted to do this.
Yeah.
You know, like watching this has like got me hype. So maybe 12 or 13 years old, I was being bullied. So my mom found out and she's like, okay, let's get you into a martial art. What do you want to do? Karate, you know. So got me into karate. All honesty, for me the best part was sparring.
Yeah.
You know, I loved the sparring part. Everything else, like maybe like the weapons portion, that was fun. Doing like the katas and stuff, you know, I did it, but I was bored. You know, but when I looked forward just to the sparring.
Yeah.
So fast forward a couple years, this is maybe 2009. I was taking my little brother to John Way to his Kung Fu class. I met an instructor and I came in and I'm like, I asked him, I'm like, what are they doing? He's like, this is jiu-jitsu. I'm like, what is that? And I'm like, they're just rolling around. I'm like, why are they rolling around? So he's like, you want to try? I'm like, no. I'm like, do you guys have anything else? He said, kickboxing. So I did kickboxing for, you know, a few years and I'm watching the jiu-jitsu, and I'm like, you know what? Let me try it. Completely hooked.
Yeah.
And it's
There you
crazy because I did it with my ex.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So
All right. So
yeah.
you guys were training there.
So we
you
were
both
training,
were training
and
together?
at the time, John Way, he only had no gi, but it was myself and maybe one other girl, but I had the best time. And then when I met him, I think you came from Davie and you had a gi on, right? Because he was at ATT Davie and I was at John Way, and then when he came in, I think he just got done doing his class, right?
No, what it is that I did come in from Davie. What it was is John was partners with Baga in Davie, and then he had John Way martial Kung Fu at that time. And then what it was is at Davie they had a Sanshao program for the kids. Mm-hmm. So I helped teach the Sanshao program for the kids at Davie, and what would happen is I would drive from there on that night and come in late to John's because it's just right up the road on University, like maybe half dozen lights. But the class would start as this one would end. But I would cover that class. I think it was a Tuesday and Thursday kids class, Sanshao. And then after that, right away, I'd go to Nogi over at John's.
So I was doing the class with my ex. Well, at the time he wasn't my ex, but he was a real fucking dick. You know, but we were kind of like on the way out, you know. Bruce was the instructor for one of my classes and we just had this amazing chemistry, you know, but just as friends. You know,
100%.
Right, Bert?
No, I was 100%.
So-
I was 100% a gentleman.
So
100%.
yeah, 100%. So it's crazy. I think within 6 months of training, I'm like, I want to do a tournament. And at the time, it was forgot what it's called, but it was a tournament at Disney. It's like they had all the different martial arts.
The Disney Martial Arts Festival.
Kickboxing, jiu-jitsu. And he's my coach. So I'm like, are you going to make it? He's like, I can't make it. I remember like how I felt. I felt completely just defeated. I'm like, oh shit, do I like this guy? I'm like, you know, so he's like, I have to work. I can't make it. A few of the team.
Bo, when you cut this, put some like really nice like romantic music in here somewhere.
So a few of the team, like we drove up and maybe a couple hours before I had to go on, I see this guy. I'm like, he made it, you know? And everything just felt like.
So you were still dating the other guy?
We were on the way out.
Okay.
Yeah, we were on the way out.
Somebody was.
We were on the way out. Yeah.
No,
So funny.
I was
So
a
funny
gentleman.
story.
I waited for him to slip on his own accord.
Funny story. When my ex was at John Way, Bruce and him were rolling, and obviously he's a new guy, so Bruce let him have it. And you know the mentality, you're like, oh, I submitted, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
This ass made us drive to Publix to get a cake to celebrate that he submitted him.
Oh, was he serious about it, or was it like kind of like tongue-in-cheek joke?
He was dead serious.
Oh my God.
He was dead
Really?
serious.
Holy shit.
Yeah, so that's been like an ongoing joke for like years because it's like you have to be there to really.
Let me guess that I could say that person does not train jiu-jitsu anymore.
Does not.
You
not.
know somebody with that mentality is not going to last.
No, does not.
Because that person that is so about that win,
Yeah.
this isn't the right discipline for them.
It's really crazy because it's like you have
It's hard to get that out of them.
the girl, then you have the guy. So it's always the girl's gonna stop, but the guy stopped this time.
Okay.
You know, so it was kind of like, you know, no matter what, it's like I fell in love with something. It's like,
Yeah.
you know, And
Did he stop when you were together still? Or,
no, he
or-
trained at another gym for a few months, and then he just stopped.
Okay.
You know, he wasn't in love with the sport.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah,
you
yeah.
have to be in love with this because,
Yeah.
you know, the whole saying that it becomes a lifestyle, it really does. You know, your friends, like your best friends, become the people that you train with.
Yeah.
You know, everything that you do, it's like at work, I'm like, I said oos to somebody. I'm like, oh, wait, shit. You know?
Have you ever bowed like before walking into like a store?
I have
by-
not bowed, but I've said oos, and I swear to God, every time somebody speaks, I hear little words. I'm like, did they just say armbar? Did they say jujitsu? I'm like, what's wrong with me?
Keywords.
But it's like, you know, I'm like hearing these things in my head because it's like, you know, I'm around it so much that I'm like, oh, wait, they did to say that. No, you know?
I used to, it happened more than once. I would bow before getting in the shower, just not even realizing it. Butt booty naked, ready to get into the shower, and just like, and I'm like, what am I fucking? what am I
That's
doing?
the old ways.
But it's, but
That's
you know
awesome.
what? But like that always reinforced my passion. Like I'm like, I'm so
it's
in
a
the right
passion.
place.
People don't understand. Like for me, it's like as a nurse, I could be making a lot more money with, like 3/12, like 3/7 schedules. It's like certain schedules, you know. But I changed my schedule to incorporate this.
So so tell everybody what you do.
I'm an
You know?
orthopedic nurse.
Okay.
Yes.
Orthopedic nurse is.
I deal with the bones, broken
okay.
bones, stuff like that.
Okay.
Knees, hips, everything.
Okay.
Shoulders.
Head and shoulders, knees and toes.
Pretty
and
much,
you're-
yeah.
And do you have like we were kind of talking about it when you left the gym the other night? You have like a really hectic schedule.
I did when I
Beyond
started.
that.
I did when I started. Now, since I've been in the game for so long,
Yeah.
especially nursing, it's like I could kind of like finagle my schedule to what I want it to be that allows me to train.
But it's not. I'm not not just the job, but the job, and then like you did like CrossFit before
Oh my
I
God,
came out
I've
that
a-
night, and then
She's
we
a
did a
monster,
jiu-jitsu
bro.
class.
She's a monster, dude.
Like,
Like,
your
I have
work and
really
personal
bad
schedule.
anxiety.
Yeah.
Right. So my mom tells me one day, like she's like, one day, like you're just gonna like fall apart because
Yeah.
like I barely sleep. It's like I work out, jiu-jitsu, CrossFit, and then on my off days from CrossFit, I'm still at the gym. You know, I have a lot of energy, and that's how I burn my energy.
But when
you
it's
know?
something that you love, it's not pressure.
No,
it's not.
It's not because
It's not that anxiety. It's anxiety. I want to. I have anxiety because I want to train,
Right.
but I don't have anxiety around training. Right? You know, like it's not
Yeah,
like I need that to kill that anxiety.
Exactly.
Right?
It's absolutely crazy because like the days that I drive up and I'm like, oh, I need to go rest. I'm tired. I have my best rolls.
Yeah.
The days that I don't want to roll is when I have my
yeah,
best rolls.
yeah.
Days I don't want to work out is when I have my best workouts.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, that's happened. I mean, I've been like, I want to say sick, but like headache because I'm at a computer most days. And
Right.
now have I have
Your
a
eyes are
desk I can
tired
stand
and
at.
tired,
I can
yeah.
stand at my desk, which is usually helpful. But if I'm at my desk for 4 hours, 6 hours a day without stopping, like just those long periods, and I don't make myself stop, and
Right.
that's happened. Then I have a headache, and I got to take a nap before I get to the gym, or I just can't. But I need to go to the gym. That headache or pressure on my neck is gone by the time I'm out of there, and I feel like $1,000,000.
Right.
Right?
it's
I
like-
mean, we probably all
After
have that
my
experience.
first roll, I'm like, oh, then I'm like, okay, now I'm
Yeah.
like, I'm up and I'm alive. Let's go.
Especially in a gym with no AC.
Listen, I thank you for having me. It was awesome. I mean, I don't mind, like, you know, you had some fans around and stuff like, but that old school, like, you know, open the
Yeah.
big, the
Roll
big
up the doors.
roll up the
Yeah.
doors is like, I'm absolutely fine with that.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
My gym, like the AC would go out once in a while and we'd be like, old school, let's do it, you know. Like,
You're in Brazil now.
Brazilian, you know, every
It's like Brazil.
yeah, somebody would say that, and you know the windows are freaking like all sweating by the time you're done. But I mean, that's part of the game, and like I don't care. You know, great, I get a sweat. You know,
It's better workout. It's better for your body. It's better for your joints.
Yeah.
Better for your muscles.
so you guys wind up dating, and give me the timeline to opening this gym now. What happens and you meet, you start dating, and to today when you guys now have Ohana Jiu Jitsu and Plantation.
I think what happened is the first thing is we became the ultimate training partners.
yeah,
I think that's the first thing because any competition, she has anxiety. Any competition, the intimacy of our relationship helped me deal with her anxiety, deal with it for her and for me, so that I was able to be effective for her while she was in moments like that. And the thing about it is, and I would always tell her, is like, you have this anxiety to perform, but like if you just perform like you do in the gym, you're a beast. So we had a relationship that grew alongside our martial arts lives, not careers. So a lot of the things that she had in the past, a lot of things that I had in the past, we were able to bring to the table, learn together, and move forward while facing the challenges of being athletes in jiu-jitsu at the same time. Which everybody, if you've done this competitively, you know, eating right and exercising and making sure you're sleeping and making sure you have a good mindset and get negative shit out of your space and stuff like that.
When I was competing, I was a monster. So it's like, as far as like hungry all the time, and he just.
So I think the support, I think the support of the intimacy of the relationship helped us grow into this. And then when we kind of realized, like, this team that we are, it's not just, we don't just benefit from it. The people around us, they for some way absorb what we've got going on. The energy, and it makes people positive. And people tell us these things like, hey man, you know, because of you guys, like, oh, what do we do?
Yeah, and I'm sitting back, I'm like, what?
What did
Seriously?
we do? I didn't even do that for me. How did I make you do that for you?
Yeah.
You know? So.
What are we doing?
Yeah.
I've had a positive impact on your life.
So we've been together, ups and downs, you know, through injuries, tournaments,
Lots of injuries.
business problems, you know, that I've had and things like that. And just coming together and staying together as a team, positive and at home, and then having something at the gym to reinforce it, really, I think, is what made a lot.
So, yeah, he's always spoken about, since he was a purple belt, he wanted to open up his own gym.
Well, let me rewind. When I used to do Kung Fu with Andrew Chung back in the kids' days, I remember one of the guys did career day, and he went to our school. So my cousin and myself participated in career day as he did his presentation. And I can remember thinking to myself, like, this is what I want to do.
So wait, so the career day is like in school, not the academy, like at the school.
6th grade, 5th grade, something like that.
Yeah.
You know? And I was like, this is what I want to do. I want to teach people this kind of stuff, you know, things like that. So at a young age, I kind of had that in my mind.
Yeah. So the teaching is the most fulfilling part for me. I don't own a gym. I'm not but I know the feeling from when I was white and blue. I love that feeling. I carry that feeling over into my marketing company. I love training new people. I had to train 2 new salespeople last week, and still, through next week. So I love that. And
for me, it's coaching in tournaments. I absolutely love coaching in tournaments.
I loved it, and I love like I was able to. I said, my school he didn't love you teaching stuff, but once I was brown and then black, I could tell somebody. I would actually, like, a lot of times if there was a bigger guy that came in. My old school has a bunch of bigger guys now, but it didn't always.
Right.
So when new guy off the street, big guy, they'd be like, no, right, take him. And I would do what I would call the jiu-jitsu 101. Okay, let's just do get in my guard. I'm going to show you how to pass and side control mount. Okay, do that. Now we switch, go back and forth. Yeah. Give him a sweep, and now I'm in your guard, and let's do the same thing again, right? So I would I always loved it. I as a matter of fact, if I was like, yeah, come here, big guy, come on, I'm going to show you some stuff. So I always fed off of that. It's my, obviously I love training jiu-jitsu, I love rolling, but if I had to put it in order, literally teaching is the most fulfilling part, because it's not only am I getting my training in, but I'm giving something back. I'm getting my training, but I'm giving something.
Absolutely.
So that give and take is it really feeds my soul.
For me, it's coaching in tournaments. I absolutely love the energy. God, I just get a rush.
Yeah.
Absolutely love it. The next day, I have no voice.
Yeah. Oh, you're that. Oh, you're that.
I'm that person where I'm crawling on the mat.
Yeah.
I'm not calm, and I'm like, oh, you got to do this.
I think there's video of me grabbing her by the pant.
Yeah, I'm crawling
and pulling her off the mat.
As I get off the mat, I'm like, no,
send that
fine.
picture. I want to see. Post that picture.
I'm like, it's fine.
I think she's got video of me holding me over the rail at JJD
I'm like, it's
and
fine.
stuff like that. It's just coaching is passionate.
Like, you can't be on the mat. I'm like, they're on the mat.
Yeah.
So
they're competing.
So now tell everybody about. We'll do it now. Let you do it later as well at the end. But Ohana Jiu Jitsu. Tell them where you are in Plantation. What's the give the exact address? We have a lot of people in Florida that listen.
The exact address is, I believe, 1700. I'll tell you right now.
How long have you been, Monique? Well, he's looking for that. How long have you been at that location?
We've been there for 8 months now.
Thereabout, yeah.
Okay. Around 8 months, yeah. We opened up in 2024.
Okay.
Right? It was insane because it's you always spoke about opening up his own gym and stuff, and then I'm like, I'm not sure if it's a good idea after COVID hit. Witnessing gym struggles, gyms closed, and I'm like, I don't know if this is a good idea.
I don't think that ever happens again. I mean,
You
especially in
know,
Florida, like
right.
they'll
I think
never,
that we've been
nobody
through
would
the brunt
ever
of it.
let that happen
We've been through the
again.
brunt of it, and we know how to handle it.
We know how to navigate
You know,
these.
it's
Yeah,
crazy
yeah.
because it's like I'm a nurse and I was still training.
Yeah.
Like we had like a, you know,
I made more money in training during COVID off of privates.
yeah,
Yeah,
we had like a underground training type thing,
yeah.
you know, because it's like I'm like I couldn't stop training. I'm like I knew the risks, but you know,
I got that
Throw the
address
address out there.
1700 Northwest 65th Avenue, Suite 11.
Getting a little feedback.
Suite 11
Okay.
Plantation, 33313.
Did you hear that? That little feedback? I was getting a little zzz.
Because I'm electric.
woogie woogie woogie.
Yeah, I heard a little buzz. That's why I turned myself down because it was. I heard like a little, like almost like an electrical, like zzz, like a zapping.
I don't hear it now.
Did you hear it though?
I
heard it.
Okay, everybody
Yeah.
heard it. Okay. Yeah. Is that
Hello,
what it is?
hello, 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 hello.
We're good.
All good.
So let me turn myself back up. Now that's too low for me. Hello,
UFO?
testing. Yeah, we're
UFO.
good.
Unidentified flying objects.
It's not dark enough yet.
So Ohana Jiu Jitsu, tell everybody what it means.
Ohana means family. We had an instructor, shout out to Professor Vinny, and he taught us about family, like on and
Yeah.
off the mat. And for me, that's what we're trying to build. You know, I want a family environment that everyone feels welcome, like no egos. I mean, once in a while, like you're going to get that, but it's like, it's family.
Yeah.
You know, these are people that you train with and they become your family. And I don't want to be a gym where it's like, oh, I go in a train and then we just leave. It's like, I want to build a relationship with everyone from
Yeah.
the white belt to the black belt. You know, that's what it's about.
So is Ohana a Hawaiian word or is it a Jamaican word?
Hawaiian word.
It's Hawaiian.
Yes.
Because when I did look it up, I actually like something Jamaican came up. Because you're Jamaican, right?
Yes.
You have a Jamaican background.
Yes.
And then I found like when I was posting, I found like I put in Ohana like to get music to add to the post.
Yeah.
And it was like a reggae song,
Great
right?
song, by the
Ohana,
way.
and it said family. I was just like,
Yeah.
oh, maybe
It is a
this is
Hawaiian
Jamaican,
word.
even though it just
You never
sounds
see
so
Lilo
Hawaiian.
and Stitch?
No.
Ah, come on. One of the best cartoons ever.
Really?
Yeah.
I think I was probably like
Yeah.
maybe an adult. I don't know. I think I'm a little older.
Doesn't
I'm a
matter.
little older
It
than
doesn't
you.
matter.
Well, I'm just a little bit old. Like I think it was kind of like after my time
Yeah.
of maybe when I would have watched
Isn't it coming
so.
live action?
It's coming live
There
action.
you go.
Yeah.
You'll catch it.
Is that
Yeah,
where
but
it's
that's
from?
like watching that. It's like that's you know the entire cartoon takes place. It's based in Hawaii.
Okay.
and It's about family.
Yeah.
Family never gets left behind.
Okay. And they
Yeah.
say Ohana. Is it?
Yeah.
It's incorporated.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Ohana.
Ohana is the Hawaiian word for family.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
And what the movie was about is basically a bunch of misfits.
Yeah.
The girl, she was an outcast. She was an orphan.
Just who outcasts. I mean, that's what I'm saying. It brings everybody together. You know.
Yeah.
She was an orphan. She was living with her older sister. None of the other kids accepted her. She made dolls and they were weird. And then all of a sudden this alien lands on the planet and he's an outcast. He landed here because he was outcasted and they become friends and family.
Okay.
And so that's what that means. Like, you know what? We don't have to be the same. We don't have to be, like-minded. As long as we're here doing this and we come together with a common good and we're working to help each other, then we're family, bro.
I tell
So
people
Ohana.
like this: jiu-jitsu. It's like the majority of people that I've met there. I don't think if I ever did jiu-jitsu, I would meet them outside of never,
Absolutely.
ever,
That's
right?
across the
It's
board.
like
Everybody has that
so
sentiment
many
too,
like it's just a melting pot, and it's just interesting when you hear what people do for a living and people that I typically wouldn't be friends with outside of the sports. Like, dude, like we're family now,
Yeah.
so it brings everyone together. It brings all the weirdos together.
How has as someone who just moved to a new gym and I got a super warm welcome, you got that moving around. You could say what you want about how and why you're where you are now, but how has moving around and opening your own gym affected like maybe some of those relationships where they were family and maybe not so much family anymore? Because I'm going through that right now.
Yeah, it's affected some relationships. That old school mentality, instead of people somewhat understanding and saying, "Oh, like I'm so happy for you." Sometimes it's like you're abandoning me, and people feel a certain type of way about that. It sucks, but it's like you have to do your best to let them try and understand. Hey, I'm not leaving you behind. I'm trying to progress and do my own thing. Like this is something that we've wanted to do for years to branch out, it doesn't mean that we're still not family.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like we're always going to be there. And that comes into the whole, like, let's go to the different gyms, let's mix it up, you know, and get to see each other. Just, again, that old school mentality. It's like,
Did you literally have people, we'll get back to the family aspect. It sounds like you had coaches that were like, no, you can't go train at other gyms, or you should not be training at cross training. You like, did they try to tell you outright you couldn't train in other places?
Some did,
Yeah. Bruce,
I've seen that.
I think once you get, you know, like once I got to like, again, I didn't travel a lot for jiu-jitsu. I knew, like, if I had guests on the show, maybe I would like go train at their gym. You know, I have a friend, Drew, down at A&M Jiu-Jitsu in Fort Lauderdale. Go to train with him. But Garth had been after, I met Garth at my very first tournament.
Coming in next Thursday.
Yeah, I tried to get him to come with me. It was like Monday was like their busiest night. That was the only time I can go.
Yeah.
So like I met him at a tournament, and then we just like became Facebook friends, and he for 10 years was asking me to come. We have like the same journey. We were both white at the same time. And basically he got his black belt just a few months before me. But like he's been after me forever, and my coach didn't get along with the original owner of that school back in the day. So then I'm like, I'm really going over there without getting him pissed. Like they didn't get along. But then I guess like the management changed, and then I was still like, and now I've kind of I've left my gym for reasons that we may or may not get into one day. I don't know
Not
about
the
today.
time yet.
Not the time yet, but there's definitely nothing that I did. But just not the right place for me. I just kind of don't like some of the things that were happening. So I've moved on.
It's your peace. The thing is, when you step onto that mat, I tell like this to everyone, when I have a hard day, a shitty day at work, it's like, it's my peace. It's that saying, it's like, it's my therapy. And you want to go to a gym that you feel like the weight just lifted off of you. If you feel weight when you're on that mat, maybe it's not the right gym for you.
I was stressing. I was getting to the gym, which again, you know, the students of my family, I was getting to the gym, and I'm on the mat, and I'm asking myself, what am I doing here? Why am I still here? Why am I at this gym? Again, without going too far into it, just knowing things when you're at a gym for 8 years, you know stuff, or you start to hear stuff.
Absolutely.
And unfortunately, I didn't hear about stuff till the last year. And the things that I was hearing made me super uncomfortable to be at that gym. Gotcha. Oh, wow. And look, I started Academy Safe. I wonder what happened, you know? So I went over, I had 3 gyms that I was going to go to in the area in Coral Springs that were all relatively close. I've always been like pretty close to my gym. And one of the reasons I stayed in Coral Springs was to be close to my gym. Right. And my ex-wife now she did kickboxing in the area. So it was just like, we both had schools in the area that we were like super attached to.
Convenience.
And but family. Yeah. It was like those schools were our best friends and things like that. So it was like very hard to leave. And now I'm literally like, I could walk across to Coral Springs Jiu-Jitsu.
That's awesome.
Faster than I can get in the car, have to do all my U-turns to get back.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I still drive. But
you do?
Yeah.
Because who wants to walk after
class?
So I still take my car, but it's literally right there. Garth is there. Finally, like 10 years later, I wind up going, and like that gym is more like my first gym, where you could speak, you could share technique.
Oh, we felt so welcome when I did my
everybody,
it was great over everybody was so welcoming.
My old school, there is one man at the top. When I went in there, this is kind of funny. I think it's funny. I walk in, I have my bag. I already told Garth I was coming, but I hadn't spoke to any of the instructors. I walk in, Eddie's kind of like right at the front, and he's like, who the hell is this guy walking in? I got my gi pants on. I'm like, he's like, who's this guy? So he's like, hey, what's up? I'm like, hey, I'm a friend of Garth. Oh, hey, how you doing? He's like, purple belt? I don't know why he guessed purple. He's like, purple belt? And I'm like, no, I'm a black belt. He's like, oh, I'm sorry, professor. Then it was professor. Yeah. Hey, professor, bring professor over there to sign over, like, professor. And I don't think, he might not even know my name, because he's just always calling me professor. Like that level of, again, I'm out of school. I don't think that the person who gave me my black belt has ever called me professor. Maybe in a joking way, like, oh, professor, like literally there's a certain amount of respect that goes along with the black belt there.
Most definitely.
To every black belt. One of the things that they do there. So it was just funny that like when I first walked in, he was like, oh, and his demeanor just totally changed. He's like, oh, you're a black belt. Hi, hello, professor. Come around here, professor. And the same thing when I walk in every day, they meet you at the door. you know,
Yep.
shake your hand, professor. Hey, how you doing? How you feeling?
Right.
How's your injury? You know, and one of the things that they do there, it's kind of funny. I hadn't seen this. If you're late, if you're a student, a non-black belt, under, you know, brown and under, if you're late to class and you've missed anything, they make you walk around. You have to find every black belt. And
For me,
and
for
was,
us,
was that a thing? Is that a thing in other places?
That's what we came up with. I'm like,
Yeah,
I mean,
that's what I came up with.
Yeah,
You
that's-
have to go shake the hand of every single
absolutely.
black belt
in order.
In order.
In what
Yeah.
in like rank
Rank order, yeah.
rank order.
top down
I don't know,
or like
I don't know
low?
any different. Like
Yeah.
that's how we came up. Like in the
I'd
sport.
never been in a
Yeah.
in that. But I remember because again there was always. I think you can kind of tell when a school's been around 5, 10 years.
Yeah.
I believe that one of the ways that you can judge it, just one of the criteria, are the amount of black belts and higher belts that are in that school. Because when there are things going on, not so great things, those black belts know when they leave.
Yep.
They don't want to be around that environment. Remember, this is like our safe place. This is a place where we go to like
Absolutely.
we want to take the bricks off
It's
of our
our
shoulders.
little bubble outside of the rest of the world.
And again, being at a school for a long time, slowly, but there were black belts at my school. There was the owners and the and one coach. No other black belts until a group of us got our black belts, and slowly but surely, those black belts were gone. Or there were two before me. I should say, excuse me. There were two black belts before me, but they were gone.
There's a reason why.
What's going on? And training at another place. One was in injury. One was, we don't know. He just left, but he was with them from white belt. Why would a black belt leave? Didn't move out of the area like people leave. So I feel, you know, people start to hear things and know things that are going on that they don't like and they've left. So like now I've left.
Especially after they verify that
Yeah.
those things are true. You know what I mean?
Well, see, this
I've left, and then like now, you know, there are still there's still black belts there. A lot of people kind of know, you know, the dirty little secrets of things that are going on.
They just brush it under the rug.
I blame no one for staying there. I get that it's hard to leave a school. It's hard to
Absolutely.
believe story. I get all of that. I understand all that. I fault nobody for staying. You know, I didn't pull a Jerry Maguire. Who's coming with me? Like I didn't do all that.
Probably
but
would have been cooler.
I certainly, if anyone asks me why I left, I tell them exactly why I left, and they're like,
Oh, you do?
"Oh,
Yeah.
what?"
Yeah.
That's my responsibility
Yeah.
to tell you a lower belt or someone else that's maybe going to go to that school. It's my responsibility to tell you what's going
Depends
on.
on the
there.
reasoning though, right?
Yeah. I mean,
You know?
like certain allegations and certain things are
Right.
said. I felt like it was an unsafe environment for anybody.
Yeah, if it's unsafe, then most definitely.
and incredibly unhealthy. And I just think that it's my responsibility to tell people. I called one person that didn't know. I saw him posting some stuff, and I was just like, "Hey, listen, I just kind of want to tell you why I'm leaving, because I see you posting, and you're kind of saying the opposite of the reason that, like, look, I'm leaving because of these things. I just want you to know." One person.
Right.
Everybody else, colored belt up, almost everybody knows the stuff.
Right.
And people stay. Again, I don't fault them. And sometimes it's like, oh, is that true? Is this true? You know,
Right.
but you know, I have certain information that made me believe like, I can, you know, I need to leave. It's not a healthy environment for me.
Right.
But, you know, everybody makes their choice. Everybody
Absolutely.
has to live with that choice. But I decided,
good with it,
yeah,
you
I
know?
decided to move on. It's just, again, you know, when you're on the mat and you're watching your coach, you know, show the move and you're thinking about,
What's you saw?
not the move,
Yeah,
but
but yeah.
the rumor that you heard.
You know, yeah. You know,
So,
that,
you know,
that your mind is scarred. Like,
yeah,
like it's time to get out.
I said
It's time to get out.
allegedly, you know, we have to,
Yeah,
you know, I've heard
allegedly.
things that allegedly
'Cause you don't know
happened,
for
and you know,
sure.
yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to say the name of the school,
Right,
and
of
I'm not
course
going to say the
not.
name of coaches,
Yeah.
but you know, things were alleged. I know certain, you know, I've confirmed certain things on my end with people that made certain allegations, and I trust and believe those things.
Right.
So, you know, again, I decided to leave. I found myself at this environment that was most like my first gym. That was very much like my very first gym, where we could joke.
Yeah. That's
We
how it's
can-
supposed to be, though.
We can have fun with the move. I can ask something. I can say, Coach, can I just show, like, I had a 400-pound training partner in my first school. 400 pounds, about 6'1",
Ooh, big dude.
400 pounds. And some of my favorite time there was, he obviously couldn't do the moves. He wasn't like built guy. He was, you know, heavy, sweetest guy in the world. And we would have to take time to like figure out how is he going to
Adjust it
do
for
this
him.
move. Like think about 400 pounds doing a triangle. It's like very difficult. So like, okay, maybe you're not going to do that, but maybe we do this.
Do
And we
this,
would
yeah.
just work on like And he was great with
Adjusted
it, and
for
he
him.
didn't feel embarrassed about it, but like we would figure out how to do that. And some of those classes, like we would spend a lot of time just on doing that. And again, I fell in love with that. But being able to do that and have those conversations and not have a coach being like, whoa, what are you doing? What are you doing? No. It's kind of like my way, teaching my jujitsu versus like,
But that makes everyone better, though, you know?
I go back to the whole north-south. No one has ever instructed me on that. That's information that I found in other places and online, and I've kind of, perfected it for me. But, I didn't learn that. I learned my coach's jiu-jitsu, and these are the things that he likes to do, and only the things that he likes to do. And we didn't learn a lot of stuff. Like, we're, the group of black belts, like, waist down. What's, ankle locks? What? Like, how... We know when we see the videos, and you can do it yourself. And I actually took privates with me and another black belt took privates with my friend Drew. We'd come to I had a spare room, mats. I had him come to my house, and we would learn stuff. We didn't tell anybody, and we would do some no-gi stuff at the house, and we were like learning, just ankle locks and things that we didn't know. One of the things that Drew was really good with, he would say, "Show me your favorite stuff, and I'm going to show you how to get to the leg from there." That's like perfect, right? That's how I've kind of like all of my jiu-jitsu. If I look at stuff online, I look for stuff like Jason Scully videos are great, the Grappler's Guide, because it's like 50 leg locks in 5 minutes, and it's just video of him showing you getting to the position, and it's not an instructional, but it makes you think about, oh, that's there when I'm there. Okay, great. Now let me look that up and then fine tune it, right? So he's giving you.
He's great. Jason Scully's
got
great.
full instructionals, but those things made him. I think is really what blew him up. And I to this day. Wake up on I trained on the weekend. My old school, we did 7 days a week. So it was Saturday and Sunday were open mats. So I would coffee, banana, throw him on while I'm eating my banana, having my coffee. And it was just like, I'd be getting ready, getting my bag. And then, there's so many moves that I would come in, I'd be like, oh, I'm there. Rewind, look. Okay, let me
try to hit that one.
Let me try to hit that in training. That's the way I learned a lot of jiu-jitsu outside. So like, I'm not an instructional guy. I can't sit there all day. I didn't have somebody like to train with. I didn't have a dummy. I didn't have mats back in the day. So my way of learning was, ooh, okay, I'm just going to try to hit that. I'm always there. And I would always feel, never trying to like learn the fancy moves, but like, what's the extension of the thing that I'm doing? So that's how I've learned a lot of my stuff on my own. But I mean, everybody learns differently. Like some people are like, yeah, give me that John Danaher 12-hour instructional.
Oh, God.
Watch it. I can't do that. My attention span is like, I can give me 30 seconds or a minute. That's all you got on this subject right here. That's all I can give you.
That goes back to the 1,000 kicks,
Yeah.
10,000 kicks. You don't fear a man who knows 1,000 kicks. You fear a man who doesn't do one kick 10,000 times.
Yeah.
I talking back to like the culture of cross training and going to other gyms, right? So personally, the problem I have with it is what we just discussed right now in this snippet. The fact that we've been around long enough so I know dirty little secrets. I know toxic environments, and I don't want my teammates or students going into that. So I'd rather a student come and say, hey, listen, what do you think of the open mat over here? And then that gives me the opportunity to look at that open mat and say, you know what? Is there a better one somewhere else?
Yeah.
Or like, hey, dude, get on that open mat.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's my mentality. It's more like, I don't want somebody going to some toxicity. I don't want somebody, there's so much toxicity. I don't want somebody going into that environment. And who knows what they get a whiff of or taste of and they bring it back home. It's better to have, especially when you're doing something pure, it's better to keep it pure, especially like you got things like, especially you got Academy Safe. These are things that you're taking the time and the money to invest to make sure you see people to say, hey, look, this is us. We're taking the time, we're investing the money into this so that you guys know and you can feel safe. Yeah. That's how you provide an environment for your students, for your team to grow in, because toxic shit's everywhere.
I was going to go to 3 different schools. I was saying before, Garth had invited me forever. So he was the first school that I went to. I did not go visit the other 2. I felt so at home.
Sometimes you don't
and
need
it was
to.
just like, this is an extension. As a matter of fact, not only that, Eddie, right there when the whole, hey, professor thing, he was just like, he starts to ask me like, are you Garth's friend, the coach? That my first coach who had closed his gym after 2 years had come in and spoken to some of the guys about training there. So he was just like, are you the coach? No, that's not me. Oh, he's like, he mentioned the guy's name, and I was just like, oh yeah, that's my first coach. That's how I met Garth. He's like, yeah, he came in the other day. He might be coming to train. So like that environment, even for that was the environment that they have there, was the environment that coach had in that first school. So it was just like, oh, I'm home.
You're home. Like,
it
you
was
felt right.
like reminiscing, like literally going back home after years. Like, oh, this is where
you felt
what I
in your
like.
element.
Yeah. So I did not go to those other schools, and one of them happens to be a school that they go to each other's open mats. So it's like, I'm gonna get that school anyway.
Exactly.
So I was just like, this is perfect. And I don't know if you've been to an open mat. Have you been to an open mat at?
Oh,
number
at Coral
one,
Springs? No.
Listen,
oh, no, at Coral Springs, have you been there?
No, not for at Coral Springs. I've been to other open mats, especially like being a female practitioner.
Yeah.
It's like fresh meat, and it's, certain open mats are not as welcoming.
Yeah,
you know?
There are so many schools at the open mat at Coral Springs, BJJ.
Yeah,
I was like you seeing the patches of all these different schools. I ran into a guy that used to go to the open mat at my old school, and I'm like, we're not. He's just like, this is just a better open mat, man. The vibe. He's like, we got like yelled at your school for being late because the open mat there was like 2 hours instruction and then an hour of open mat. So even though we called it open mat, it's not open mat. I know it's not open mat.
And then you're gonna yell at somebody.
So like people that only came to the second hour for the open mat, he would get annoyed. He would be like, we do instruction and then the open mat. Again, it's not an open mat.
Right,
so,
it's not.
So he's just like, yeah. He goes, I go to another school and I get like yelled at essentially. And like, I shouldn't say yelled at, but like, you know, like, hey man, look, we
Called
do
out,
this. Yeah. He was just like, yeah, that. And he goes, I never went back after that. I'm like, oh. So I saw a whole bunch of people that used to go to our open mat. I'm like, we used to wonder why they weren't showing up anymore. And so like the old open mat at that old school is just the students there. The students are great. The jiu-jitsu is great. Again, other things made it not so great for me.
Gotcha.
So, you know, I love my friends and training partners, which
you still talk to them?
That was what I was just gonna say. Since I left, pretty much I speak to two people. One is a client, so we speak, and I don't, you know, we spoke more before.
Gotcha.
And I have one other person that I speak to a little bit, and we go out to lunch once in a while. But even that,
it's
like
kind of weird,
the
right?
chats that we had, that chat hasn't been closed, but the chat that we had with some like the friends, no one, I don't know if they knocked me out. We have nobody has commented in there since I've left in a chat that we chatted in every single day. So I get it. You know, I'm you know, the outsider now. I hope that it's not like that forever.
Hopefully not.
And I actually did tell one of them, I said, look, my friendship with you, I value more than you being a client and us being training partners. I go, I don't want the friendship to end. Right. This is other stuff. And, you know, we'll see where it goes. It's still relatively new, but no, definitely, no, I'm not hanging out with those same people since.
It sucks. It's
you know.
kind of like a death in the family sometimes. It's
Yeah,
like, you know.
I say to hell with the man. Forget anybody that doesn't want to see you do good.
Yeah.
If you're in a better spot for you,
Yeah.
if you made a decision to go to a better place for you, regardless of what the decision is, and that's how people act. Hell with them, bro. I know what it's like. I felt it. So to hell with them.
I get it. I don't feel like I'm not cutting anybody out, just the coach. Yeah. I'm here, guys. Want to go out? Let's go have a drink. Let's go watch UFC. I'm still here.
Exactly.
But again, the welcome that I've got at Coral Springs Jiu-Jitsu has been it's like I was there the entire 10 years.
Awesome.
It feels like I've already been there. And I feel bad. Hey, guy, I'm not going anywhere. Like again, because I've been injured. Like I went.
Do you still go in and watch though if you're injured?
So 2 weeks before I came to you guys, I went to you guys on this past Monday.
Yeah.
I went and I was just like, let me see if I can roll. And I rolled and I aggravated whatever this is, hernia, whatever it is. And I'm like, damn it. And so I didn't go for at least a week. And then I went with you to your gym and did that instruction, which was good. I was okay with. I didn't aggravate it, right? But you know, again, the rolling and having to explode or roll like as soon as I like plant the foot or I try to like shrimp out. I'm like,
I always tell people like when you're injured, like don't stay away. Go in there. Pay attention.
Yeah.
Watch a few rolls. You learn so much.
Yeah.
Just by sitting out and just paying attention.
I did before, like that happened. Like I went for like 2 classes, and then that Sunday I hurt myself. It was like the first week I started there. So I did go, and I have gone, and I just kind of like help and assist, and like, hey guys, like put your foot here, hey, you know, and helping people.
You learn
when
a
they're
lot that way
roll.
too, you know.
I think you learn more almost when you're telling somebody, you're like, damn, I forget to put my foot there. I gotta remember to put my foot there next time, right? So I've done that. I'm not training. I'm going to the gym. I'm doing other things. I'm staying active, but I just like going there, I know that I'm going to be like, let's roll, or let me show you this
You're
move,
gonna
and
try
then
to stay away.
something happens.
Yeah. I
But
get
that's
that
just
part
my
of
own
it.
discipline. I gotta
But that's
get that under
everybody.
wraps.
But that's everybody.
It's hard not
does
to.
it.
It's hard not to say, okay, I'm gonna sit down and watch. Be like, oh, maybe I can roll with that
Yeah.
white ball over there or something.
But like you said, that it's funny because it's discipline, right?
Yeah,
It's discipline. It's the key.
it's
word.
on me.
And the thing is this: if you look back, and even parents putting their kids into martial arts, or even why you started martial arts, it was for discipline. So the whole thing you went
Mine
there
was for
for,
bullying.
Yeah.
well, the whole thing you went there for, which you hope to achieve, goes out the window
Yeah.
because you don't have the
Yeah.
discipline to keep
Yeah.
yourself healthy and safe. You know.
Yeah. But I'm one of the ways I do it again is like, okay, I'm going to go to the gym. I'm going to lift weights. I'm going to be active. I'm not just sitting on the couch. It has, Academy Safe was born on July 25th. We registered it. So this is in 3 weeks. We've gone from registering it to literally our
Board of
GoFundMe's up,
directors, yeah.
board of directors. Like I ran a nonprofit called the Jiu-Jitsu Dummies Foundation in the past, where we did scholarships for kids.
Oh wow, that's amazing.
Do you remember the little kid Bridger Walker who protected his
Yes.
He was that little boy got bit in the face protecting
Yes,
his
yes,
sister.
the
from
dog.
a dog.
Sister,
He was
yeah.
our first 1 year scholarship. We paid for his jiu-jitsu for a year. We found out that he did jiu-jitsu when that happened. He was already training jiu-jitsu.
Yeah, he was training. I remember reading it.
If you look up anything about him online after
Such
the
an
bite,
amazing story.
he is wearing. You'll see him in. We give him
does he
gear.
have a shirt on?
He has a
That's awesome.
jiu-jitsu dummies
Yeah.
rash guard. His parents would be like, he does not want to take it off. Like we have to get it to wash it and not let him know.
Gotta get him a new one. You gotta send him a new one, man.
Everywhere he went to hockey games. He went to.
He's repping you.
Yeah, he was for a long time. So now it's been a few years now, but he was our first, and then the second was a girl who was doing a lot of money raising for her mother had cancer. The mom has since passed, and she was raising money for Tap Cancer Out. So she was our second year, but I was like doing it so much on my own that it was very, very difficult for me to run it. So I just said, let me shut this down. Right. I had also left to open up my marketing company. So it was like, I've got to choose. I'm doing the podcast, marketing company, and then having that third business is difficult. This time out with Academy Safe, I have help. We have Roberto Santiago, who is has a media background and was a reporter. He's an author. He got us into the Sun Sentinel for the podcast.
Oh, wow.
So he was a fan of the show and has become a friend. He's
Does he
a
train?
John Way student.
Yeah.
Yes. He trains jiu-jitsu. He trains
I know who that is.
Yeah.
Does he wear glasses?
Yeah,
Yeah, I know who he is.
Roberto Santiago. Yeah, he's always there. He's always posts a lot, and he's got a media background, and he's gotten John Way. Like he gets him on TV and gets him on news NBC6, and every time around the
So,
Chinese New Year,
funny-
they get him into stuff.
Funny story. This is back in maybe 2012. I was going to Jamaica with my mom and some family.
Yes.
I think you were there, right?
Yeah, we were getting off the airport.
We're at the airport. I'm like, shit, is that John Way? So big poster in the airport, and I'm like, damn. I'm like, because I don't know if you know this, but
Like advertisement.
he used to be a model.
John was a model?
Yes.
Oh, yeah. I know his wife is a photographer,
No, John
right?
was a model. When
Oh,
he was
wow.
younger, he was a model.
Somebody
And
sent me some
he's
pictures.
in like a white linen suit. There's a
It's like a 14-foot
palm
tall
tree.
built picture.
big picture.
Oh, like not
In the airport.
but
In the
not
airport.
of John Way martial arts.
Oh,
He's
no,
just a
of him.
model.
John Way
Yes.
himself.
He's a model in this
He's
ad.
He's a
dancing or
model.
something.
He himself
Cha-Cha
is a
King of Hong
model.
Kong.
I don't know. Oh, you didn't know that?
No.
Sorry.
Oh, yeah.
John has never told us that. We gotta
yeah,
get.
he
We
was a
gotta get him.
model.
John, pull out the glamour
Yeah.
Yeah,
shots.
Joey.
Yeah,
Well,
well,
again, I know
yeah.
his wife is a photographer, so like it
Yeah.
would make sense. Maybe
I
that's
think
how
this
they
is way
met.
before that.
Oh, way
This is
before that. Yeah.
before that. Way
Yeah.
before they
Yeah.
met. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh wow.
Yeah.
He
I'm
used to have this beautiful
I'm like, oh
flowy
shit,
hair.
that's John Way.
Yeah.
You know?
So Roberto is a student of
Okay.
his in Kung Fu and Jiu-Jitsu. I know Roberto changed another school. Roberto's actually like a big advocate and didn't like coaches who would tell him like not to train someplace else. He would maybe go to a school that had like a lunch jiu-jitsu, but then go to another school at night. And that's what he wanted to do. And I know that he had a coach along the way that was just like, well, no, I don't really like this. And he's like,
Right.
well, I'm paying you.
Right.
Bye. But he's got a background in sports reporting, and he's like there's pictures of Roberto doing what's like the weight you model, what do they call that, like
bodybuilding,
bodybuilding
CrossFit, yeah,
competitions,
yeah.
Posing.
So like the posing
Yeah,
and stuff like
yeah.
that. He's done that. He's done boxing. He's done jiu-jitsu and different martial arts. So great fit for us. And then we have Rob, so like Rob from McDojo. So like this is just like it all happened so quickly. So from July 25th to yesterday, the 15th when we launched. Like it happened
amazing.
really fast.
Amazing.
But this time out, the difference between that, the other nonprofit and this one was like, I didn't have the marketing company. Like now the marketing company does, like I know exactly what needed to be done and I've got the support, like social media team done,
So is it
graphics
because of
done.
what happened at your old gym that you just thought about this idea, or just something that you've been thinking about for a while?
No, because of what happened.
Gotcha.
So
What's,
you like- so you-
what's happening?
Happening. So you're like, so you sat and probably thought about like, what can I do? How could I give back
Fed
to
up.
the jiu-jitsu community? Like, what can I do?
I will say this part because it's public. Again, I don't want to go into.
Right.
I don't want to drop names, but everybody knows what happened with Fight Sports down
Yeah,
here and that
absolutely.
whole thing. And I have nothing against Fight Sports locations. Okay, you got caught up in something, but you know the covering up, and now those two, you know,
covering up.
they went to, you know, these guys fled to Brazil. They fled the law and went to Brazil. And were they helped and were they not? So like I was at my old school was Fight Sports Coral Springs.
yes.
Back then,
Kinda
before
put
they
that
changed their
together.
name, right? So they change, you know, they leave and then they change their name. So that happened, and I, you know, we came out. Myself and one of my podcast partner at the time, we came out. He was training at Wagner's, and I'm training in this place. He had trained with me in Coral Springs, but he also then he went to Wagner's, and we were like, he's got kids. He saw that guy in the gym. And they're saying that he's not, that guy isn't there. And, you know, we had Wagner on the week before all this blew up.
Yeah.
So we had Wagner on the show. Great episode. Wagner's an amazing guy. I think he's a really great guy. I think he made a bad decision about what happened at that time. I still think he's a great guy. But, you know, they made some poor decisions. And you seem like you have something to say about that. I will let you.
I'm not going to say anything. I'm good.
But, you know,
Next
my podcast partner was there, and he's just like, they're saying that this guy's not there. He's like, I see them every day. I saw him every day behind the counter doing video. He's like, so they're saying one thing. So we came out a little, we were doing the podcast, and, you know, we're not super famous, but people know the podcast.
Right.
And we came out and said, hey, we're going to leave. My coach wound up changing his name and went on. And he, you know, Miguel left and went to another gym. Again, it's been a long time. Hopefully everybody's learned their lesson. You know, again, poor choices, but, you know, you've got to, you as a person have to live with those choices that you made.
Right.
But that happened, and now things recently happening. I'm like, you know what? Is anybody gonna fucking do anything about this?
Never ending.
There's between knowing like Rob, and I had Rob on the show twice. You know, we got his book up there. We had Rob on the show twice. Got to know him, and obviously, you know, I kind of knew him way before that because just watching the McDojo stuff. It's like, who is anyone doing anything about it? If we
Nobody's
just
doing
shined a little
anything
bit of
The
about
light
thing
on
about
this,
it,
bro.
it's horrible to even want to put any kind of, you know, your students into that kind of environment. But to me, it's like knowing what's gone on, it's almost as bad as somebody doing it. You know, like you're covering something up. It's almost just as bad.
Like they say, like the
You know,
cover up is worse than the
just-
crime.
No, I think the cover-up is
maybe
worse.
not
That
as
you're-
bad as, you know, the
You
obviously
know,
the things
obviously
that
not as
happen.
bad as the actual acts, but knowing that this is going on and you're able to sleep at night, you have kids come in and train. Ugh.
I think it's worse. You know why?
It's a bad look,
Because
man.
what you're doing is you're telling the person that did this that it's okay. We got your back.
Yeah.
It's okay. You know, don't worry. You're okay. You did something, but don't worry about it. It's okay. You've got people
Yeah.
here. So, no, that's not okay, bro.
No.
It's not okay.
So our first encounter was we trained, I don't even know if I should say their name, but they're not even in business anymore.
Just, you know, say names.
Yeah, you don't have to.
You know, they're
Up
not
to you.
even, they're not even in business anymore.
Because of something like that?
Yeah.
Yeah, we
No.
turned the news on, saw the guy getting arrested.
Ooh, tell me after.
And then
Yeah.
after, and it was also because it wasn't even just that we
I
saw
rolled
the
with him a week before.
That's the thing. It wasn't just that we saw the guy getting arrested. What made it worse is the fact that the police officer that was on the screen reporting it,
She
when
trained
it
with us
turned
at the
on,
time.
she trained with us. So we turn on the news,
Yep.
and it's him getting arrested,
Yep.
and then cuts to
She's-
her
yeah.
doing the press
We're like,
release.
what the fuck is
And
going
then-
on?
Whoa. You lost me there. She's a cop. She's doing the press release
She's in the press
for
release.
the police department?
For the
no,
police
yeah,
department.
she trained with us,
Okay.
right? And she was
He
one
didn't
of
train
the
with us.
Under
He
that
didn't-
person?
No,
Right.
no.
He
This
was the
person was
owner.
another gym.
He
This
was
person
the
was
owner
another
of
gym.
that gym.
Let's rewind so that's clear.
Yeah,
it's
he was
another
the
gym. Had
owner
nothing to
of
do
that
with
gym.
us or our
Okay.
group.
Yeah, he was the owner
He
of that
came in
gym.
for like an open mat
She was
type
one of the
deal.
arresting officers on the case.
Okay.
And so
and
the
it's
week
like,
before, he was
we-
in there with us.
Yeah, we had barbecues with this gym, and his wife and I would talk and stuff, and he was the last person that I expected. He had 3 kids, lots of little kids in his gym. And when this 13-year-old girl gave her report, everything in my body, I was just
I believe it was
fucking
3
boiling.
girls. I believe
Three
it was
girls,
3
one was
girls.
13. I was just fucking so pissed.
Yeah.
Which was like even more upsetting because his sons were the same age. And I'm like, dude, those girls are for your kids. What the fuck are you doing?
Yeah.
You know?
But, like,
the
as a
mentality,
parent, it's
just
like-
that's okay to carry on with that kind of shit.
Why isn't it, okay, let me think twice about doing this because I have kids. What if somebody does this to one of my kids? Because karma is a bitch.
Yeah.
You know?
I know
So
the
it's like,
cure.
you have kids. It's like, aren't you going to think twice about this before, you know,
Some of them
innocence
get high
happens?
off of that, though. They get high off of the fact that they're getting away with it. You see these guys that do more shit about it on YouTube and TV. There's, I don't know, Dads Against Predators. And then there's a one guy in Miami. He's a Boca MMA fighter. He used to train.
He makes
what's his
videos
name?
of him catching, like,
He makes videos of him
chop
catching
predators.
these guys.
Yeah, big guy,
Yeah.
exactly. He makes videos of him catching,
they
like,
go
chop
on,
predators. Yeah.
They go on and they download the app and they say that they're a 14 or 15-year-old. They meet in Walmart, you know, and then they question him. They record it. And then they turn over the cops. And you find out sometimes the cops don't even do shit about it. There's nothing done about it.
Yeah.
There's nothing done about it.
Yeah.
I mean, forget about politics. What's the Epstein list? You know, this shit is like, it's covered all the way across the top.
Yeah.
It's not something that's in the shadows like, oh,
Yeah.
no, where the fuck? It's all over the
When I-
place.
when
Why are
I've
we not
told
talking
out-
about it?
when
Why
I've
are we
told-
not doing something about it?
When I've told people outside of jiu-jitsu about that before Academy Safe, I would tell them that, they'd be like, that's everywhere. That's everywhere in every part of government and in every business and everything. And I'm like, I know. I go, but I'm seeing it
And I'm doing
In
something
your
about it.
community.
And I'm
In
doing
your
something
very
about
own
it.
community.
in
Yes.
this thing that I consider so beautiful.
Yeah.
And then people come in and taint it. I mean, if I like, besides like the sexual assault, I mean, and just like inappropriate behavior, I mean, I could tell you stories like, this is one thing. I could tell you a story about a coach, married coach, and he is online hitting on the wives, moms, girlfriends,
I know a few of those.
and ex-wives and exes of his students. So this is you and I are training. Now, let me not say it that way because if I say it that way, it'll be like, you did this. Students are training with him. Grown men are training with him. And then that coach later that night is like DMing,
Their wives.
Wives.
like he's got this whole trail of like DMing and asking women out. And like, to me, like that is, okay, maybe that's not illegal,
No, it's not.
but morally,
Morally.
Where are your
Check-
principles?
What
Where
a
are your
s-
principles?
What a set of balls you have to have on
Yeah,
you
absolutely.
to be rolling with a man and then
you're DMing
hitting
his wife
on
or his
the
girl
wife.
after. Yeah, absolutely.
How do you?
You got some big balls.
But you know what? I think it's less about big balls, and that's a sickness.
You think of it, you're training your
to
kids.
know that
Well-
you're doing something wrong and to do it.
They get high
but
off
like
of it.
you're
But
a serial
Not
offender.
only
They get
that,
high, they get
not
off
only
on
that, somebody like that, it's not their first rodeo. They've done this all their lives. And the difference is why sometimes I don't think it's a sickness, is the fact that he's never been called out on it, right? So if you do something constantly and nobody's calling you out on your bullshit, what do you continue to do? The same
Yeah.
thing.
How far can I go? How
Yeah.
far can this go? What can
Right?
I do?
And
next?
that's-
Nobody stops you.
And that's
you think,
where
so you think that it's okay, right?
and that's where
Milton's stopping
students
people. He's doing
students
stuff like
that know and stay in that environment for whatever their reasons are. I don't want to say they become part of the problem, but aren't they part of the problem? You're
They
enabling.
become part of
You
the
become
problem. They become
enablers.
enablers.
No, they're part of the
Enablers.
problem. It's
So-
part of the problem.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
So
They're
You
too
know.
worried about what other people are going to think about them. if
You're
they
an
leave.
alcoholic, but I'm going to sit over here and get drunk and leave the bottle. You
Yeah.
want some, you can have it.
I
if
think
you want.
sometimes,
It's
they-
enabling.
Like, obviously, it's like we're all victims of it. We care a lot what people think about us. We say that we don't, but we all do.
Yeah.
I know that I do. So it's one of those things where it's like, you want to leave, but it's like, what are they going to think about me if I leave?
Yeah.
If I jump on, like if I leave. So to be safe, I might as well just stay.
yeah,
I want to do the right thing, but I'm too afraid of what they're going to think about me. So I keep myself in this toxic environment.
yeah.
You know?
That coach the person that I know did that. Not think I know. I've
Right.
seen it.
You've
I
seen
know,
it yourself.
I know.
You've witnessed it. You've witnessed it.
That coach, an atheist, because he knows people know,
Mm-hmm.
has now found God and goes to immediately after having a conversation with me by phone, telling me, no, but I didn't do that. And I have to, like, trying to, say why, justify certain things, is now in church every Sunday now,
I hope God forgives him.
I kind of feel like it is a preemptive strike, like something when we see a star that winds up going into rehab. They did something bad, like, oh, blame it on the drugs, and they go into rehab.
Yep.
Like, I think he's preemptively doing that because he thinks I'm going to say his name on this show.
But it's okay because he found God now.
Yeah.
So whatever he did, he's forgiven.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. So, yeah. It is 6 minutes to 2. We have 6 minutes. We can do some, like, quick answers to some of these questions.
Time really passed that fast?
That time
Seriously?
passes that fast, yeah. So that's why I try to, when I tell people 2 hours, they're like, 2 hour podcast with and I'm like, listen, I'm a talker. I talk for a living. So I'm like, yeah, we do 2 hours. So we're going to wind up we started at a quarter after.
Right.
So let me ask some of your questions, because I know some of these are from some of your students.
Oh,
gosh, here we go.
Hold on, let me ask Christian.
Are these questions screened?
Hold on, Christian, how much can we go over without getting in trouble?
You're fine. Don't
We're
worry
good?
about it. Yeah,
you got
you're
anybody coming in right after us?
No.
Okay. I'm going to have to buy you lunch or something, right? Oh, I gave you a hat. This is your hat back here. I gave you a hat.
That's a nice hat.
I give you okay, so we've got a little time. So that's
a win, Christian. That's a win.
Let's go through some of these questions that we got from the postings online. Asking, I know some of these are your students, so I want to hit these questions. So we'll try to answer these a little bit more quickly than normal, if that's okay. So we had Carlos Gomez. He said, in your experience, which belt has been the most memorable or important?
For me, blue belt. I had the most fun competing. The higher you get, especially as a female, there are less people that you have in South Florida. You got to go outside of South Florida. But for me, definitely blue belt. Had the most fun competing.
I would say purple belt. Purple belt. I competed at purple. I was injured at purple. I taught at purple. I really encompassed everything of what I'm at now. And purple belt was a good fundamental foundation for it. Also, I was a very long purple belt. I was a quick blue belt.
Yeah.
I competed a lot, did well as a blue belt. And then purple belt, I got injured, so I rode the bench a little bit. But while I was riding the bench, I was in class every day in uniform with my brace from my ankle to my hip. Yep.
I feel like you're directing that right at me, Bruce.
No.
He did look directly at you, though.
I'm not.
All right, so he sent 3 or 4 questions. I'm going to ask one of Carlos's other questions.
He probably had the best questions.
So, who is it?
That's Carlos. He's our resident white belt.
Okay, resident white belt.
Yeah.
Has he been white for a long time?
He's a great guy. One of the best guys I know. One of the best guys I know.
Where are you pointing?
The video for him to see me.
Oh, okay.
Can you say something?
Which one's your camera? Okay, good. Okay, so I always like this question, so I'm going to ask this one. This was one of Carlos's. Some people at the gym love going hard when rolling. Is that smart? And at what pace should everyone be training when rolling? So I love that, people come in and like kill.
Yeah, it depends if you're getting ready to compete and who you're training with. If you're training with somebody that's obviously smaller than you or they're injured, like to me, it's like I always talk to my training partners. I always say, hey, listen, I'm getting ready for a competition. I'm going to go like a little hard. Like, are you okay with that? I just don't go balls to the wall. Yeah. Communicate with your training partners. It's the most important. And obviously, if you know somebody's been training only for a week, I mean, come on now. It's like you just got to know better than that.
Yeah. What do you think? And this has been a little bit of a joke on the show with my old co-host Miguel. The free week guy. What do you call that? When the guy's in there in the first week, the trial class guy. We've had the joke. I'm like, listen, I understand the business. As a business owner, I understand this side, and not everybody understands it. The guy that's just like works at a restaurant or does XYZ is the roofer. Like, they want to get out that aggression, and sometimes it's the trial week guy. I understand the business of this, and I'm like, yeah, you can. Drew, my friend Drew, has a really good way of saying this. He's like, beat the shit out of him technically. Like, use your technique and show him what you can, but you don't have to, hurt the guy or like. You're going to make him not want to be there. We need to like put our arms around those new guys and bring them in. We'll beat the shit out of them later, right? We need to get them in the gym and let them understand like what this is and the beauty of this before, you can't. That's why I don't really love that white belt or the new guy even rolls the first couple of days or maybe even the first
Quick story. I had in my old gym, I had this white belt. I think he was training for a week. He went with a blue belt and the blue belt should have known better. Went super hard with him. Within maybe 20 minutes, we called for the ambulance because he ruptured his Achilles. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
He ruptured his Achilles.
20-minute trial guy?
20 trial guy.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah, like 20 minutes.
Guy wanted
in.
to sign up, but
He
you
came
know?
back. He came back and signed up like a year and a half later.
yeah.
Yeah.
After
Surgery.
After
feeling everything. Yeah.
after surgery, I was
the-
front and center.
It was the
for
best 20 minutes of my life.
I
I'm
was like-
back for more.
I was like, holy shit! And the guy was a firefighter.
yes,
so
he
it's
was
like
a
he needed
firefighter.
to like.
His shit was
Yeah.
twisted. Like,
Oh,
Yeah.
Jesus. But you see, that's a year of, okay, so he doesn't get to train.
No.
You don't, me, the offender, doesn't have a training partner.
school
I broke in
loses
one of
the
my
revenue.
toys.
The
school loses
and the
business.
school loses the revenue.
Yeah. Yep.
And could potentially even, you kind of get a little bit of a black eye for that. Like, don't go in there. They beat the shit out of the new
Exactly.
guy.
People talk. You know how it is.
Yeah.
well,
You know?
some people want that.
So anybody that,
I'm
people
sure
like,
this guy didn't
old
want his ankle
school,
fractured.
hey, old school, that's the way we do it.
Yeah.
That's not the way we do it. That's not the way you run a business. This is still a business, and I need, again, you don't want to break your toys. You need that training partner. I need that guy. Again, if you really look at it, once you really understand, like, that new guy is a great resource for me because now I'm going to get to kind of show him stuff, and I'm going to go back to some of that day one stuff that I'm not doing or remembering.
Basics
now I get
win
to
the fight.
train that, right? The basics. Now I have to remember my basics because I have to show him something. So I'm a big believer in not everybody can do this. I understand like class size and coach size, but it's great to have like a beginner class. At my first school, I said I trained 2 hours, and everybody was allowed to come to each class. But it was 1 hour. It was called beginners jiu-jitsu, and then the hour after that was advanced. Everybody came for the beginners, regardless of belt rank. Most of us were new. It was a new school, and we all stayed for the advance. And we literally did that. It was warm-ups and basics. And then the second hour was we maybe learn an advanced move and then roll most of that class. Again, small class, so we could just do that. But I liked that beginner and advanced. And now I know, again, not everybody can have that, but that's where I come in now at like brown and black and say, I loved when there was a new guy. Like, I'll take the new guy. And when I had a new guy, even if we were rolling, if everybody was rolling, when that new guy got to me, or I'd make sure that he was my first roll, maybe we were already doing technique together and now we're rolling, I would, okay, let's continue. Okay, everybody's going to fight and roll. You don't know what you're doing yet. Let's do this. And I would send him off, send that person off and say, look, go roll with him. Make sure you show him what we just did. Like, practice that with him. Don't fight, don't roll and spar. Do this. You need to make sure that you're asking.
Absolutely.
Like telling, hey, listen, I'm new. Hey, tell him you're new and tell him, can we work on something or show me your favorite move or things like that. Because again, from a business perspective, and I do look at it like that, I have respect enough for my coach that I would say, I don't want you to lose the student. I don't want you to lose the revenue.
Yeah.
You got to, you have to be able to do that. But it's also, I mean, a new person doesn't know, but it should also be your responsibility after you do know to be like, hey, can you show me a move? It's a great way to disarm aggressive guys is when you go to roll with them, be like, hey man, can you show me this? And you turn that aggressive guy into a teacher. And if he's really, truly a good martial artist, he's going to be like, do that. Now he's not beating the shit out of you, he's showing you something.
And he's going to want to stick with it also.
It's a little trick for that like white belt to get the brown belt to not beat the shit out of him in the beginning is to ask him for help or ask him to show him something. That's the way
That for sure is. As far as it goes, I believe there's a time and a place for everything. The hard training, I rather spend time hard training on skill building and bad case scenarios and king of the hill type things. And I'd rather your rolls to be a little more fluid, not as forced and not as strong, but if we're doing position passing guard and we're doing live drills and king of the hill, that I want you guys going on that because those are the things that matter. I don't care about your rolls as much. Your rolls for you at the end of class are your fun. The where you're learning, what's important to apply in the rolls is that skill building time when we're practicing technique or we're going over whatever the live action drill for the day is. So when it goes into that, I rather see more input. And I like to train deficit. I think you and I talked about this the other day. Like, I like to train, okay, you can only use one grip, ball your fist up or hold a tennis ball or something like that. I like to do that because then it makes you think outside the box. I
think you told me about the holding the ball. I believe we were talking about that. Like, hold the ball and then roll.
You got to roll.
You done it blindfolded also too.
Yeah. Yep. My first coach used to do that.
Yeah,
I
it's so much fun.
He would put on a big wig. He put on this big Afro wig and then put on it. And again, it was fun, but then he would put on the thing and he would roll with everybody and he would kick the shit out of us. But it was like it really shows you how like you can truly feel it. After I used to roll with my eyes closed. I still do. Like sometimes if I'm rolling with somebody, because I just want to feel it, I just close my eyes and I would roll and nothing special and nothing. I didn't think I was somebody. Just close my eyes and really feel it because you do, don't you? Right? You don't. You could literally close your eyes. He would let us blindfold ourselves once in a while or turn the lights off or things like that and like, okay, let's roll. But that was like incredibly helpful for me. Doing things like that, holding up
Repetition
like
is everything. When you're used to doing something so much, it's like you don't necessarily have to, see it. You just hit it.
All right, let's get to another question. I believe this is your assistant from the gym, the young lady who helps you out, Ashley Evans.
Yeah. Shout out to Ashley.
If you could train with a jiu-jitsu practitioner, past or present, who would it be?
Mikey Musameche.
Yeah?
Oh, hell yeah.
All right. You had that right there.
Oh, my God. I love him.
Yeah.
I love him so much.
Bruce?
Roosevelt.
Sousa? Who?
Theodore Roosevelt.
Oh, Theodore Roosevelt. You want to roll with him?
I'll beat the shit out of him.
He trained, right? Did he?
Yep.
He trained. That's right.
I'll beat the shit out
I
of
just saw
Theodore
something the other
Roosevelt.
day that
Dead or alive.
Sunday morning show that was like talking about like his entire stint and how he trained in the White House, right?
Yep.
Was it judo? Was it like kind of a judo? Was it jiu-jitsu back then or was it judo?
I can't hear it. I think she's hitting the cable.
Sorry.
The cable or did she
it's
just?
good now. It's good. Okay.
You good? Okay.
No, the truth is, Marcelo would be the answer. I mean, if I could just spend weeks just walking around with Marcelo Garcia and just picking that brain, that'd be the way to go. A lot of the things that you see now, and people like want to claim things, but these things come in trends. A guard will be popular for a year or two.
Has like 10 different names.
And they'll have 10 different names, and then 5 years it'll go away because everybody's beating it, and then 5 years later a blue belt will find it on YouTube and reinvent it, and they'll come back in the competition scene with a different name. This stuff's all the same, guys. This is all reinvented. This is all respun from the original where we got it, and we've just expanded on it. So when you go back to the roots of the tree are always stronger than the limbs. You go back to the roots of the tree. That's where the knowledge for the limbs is at.
I love when I see one of those black and white videos from like Japan, and they're doing like they're doing some kind of non-instructional, like they're doing they're doing like a show presentation. They're doing a presentation, and it's just like they've been doing that back then, and we're calling it American Jiu-Jitsu now. We're having this fight over it's American Jiu-Jitsu versus this, and there he is with like a footlock that we're like using now. That
it's the same thing. Everything just has different names.
What I'd like to see a real jiu-jitsu tournament. Like how they have these, when you go back to jiu-jitsu, you go back to judo, back to the origins of this. People are getting slapped to shit, palm strikes to the face. You grab the lapel, you palm strike them, you throw them, things like that. I mean, that's what this is. It's softened, and everybody talks about these rule sets. And I see somebody talking online about like, oh, with the gi you can't do heel hooks, so you guys are weak, or oh, you cry in jiu-jitsu because you get slammed, and wrestlers. But dude, wrestlers get cried when they get caught in a guillotine. When you catch them in that armbar and they're driving forward and you rip their head back and they cry because it's not the rule set. At the end of the day, all these grappling arts are exactly the same. None of them are different. They're exactly the same. The only thing that's different is the fact that there's a rule to wrestling, and there's a rule to judo, and there's a rule to jiu-jitsu, and there's a rule to sambo. But when you take away all those rules and you go in a street fight with all that stuff, it's the same shit, guys.
What do you think about training with, like, again, my first school? I can compare it to that because that was where I was, which was on Tuesday, Thursday. There was the beginners, and then the second class was called MMA. So we had a Muay Thai coach. We do a little Muay Thai, and again, then when we sparred, it was okay. You use your stand up, and then you're allowed to take down and go into your jiu-jitsu and go through to don't stop, go through to a submission or stand back up. What do you think about that? Do you guys do anything like that at your gym where you incorporate MMA? Is it something that you've thought about?
So I like me personally, I like the self-defense aspect of jiu-jitsu. Monique does her women's self-defense class.
Okay.
And
so like somebody grabs you.
It's catered to because most of these self-defense classes that you see, it's mainly stand-up. Where women, I believe, they struggle is when you're on the ground. So my self-defense classes are more so jiu-jitsu, like how to do like a basic arm bar, triangle, a sweep, stuff like that. Everything comes from the ground.
Okay.
And I think that's important.
But even still, like when she starts these things, it's all rooted in old school, like real jiu-jitsu, not anything that's competition, you might control the wrist, but you also might get a thumb in the eye at the same time that I grab your wrist. Yeah. And people talk about these things like, oh, martial arts and practitioners, and again, you go on Instagram is famous for it, bro. You can find how every person thinks they're superior at what they do, and a grappler would never get them on the street, and this, that, and the other. And like, okay, it doesn't really matter what you know if you're not training it, if you're not a practitioner of it, if you're not able in what you know, it doesn't matter. These guys that talk about like these traditional martial arts that come out of China and stuff. Listen, you may not think it works, but it works because if you train it and you drill somebody down the center line in the face, they feel it, And either way, It's been said a long time. The quickest way to make a black belt a white belt is punch him in the face. You know, guys, we don't do that shit. Everybody touts about their black belt. When was the last time you were hit in the face? When was the last time you were slapped? You know? But the fact of the matter is you don't know how to train with impact because you don't have to respond to impact because you don't train with impact. You don't train with, oh, my wrist is hurt because I just hit this guy. It's just let me grab his lapel. So when I see people doing that and see people, again, Krav Maga says this and this, Filipino art say this and this. It's like, dude, yeah, I see what you're saying, but you teaching me this or saying that a jiu-jitsu guy is not going to be defend themselves on the street against this guy or a Muay Thai guy. Most everybody knows nothing.
Yeah.
Most everybody knows nothing. Most of the time, by the time you're a blue belt in jiu-jitsu, just the perseverance alone to make it to blue belt teaches you how to remain calm, more calm in a street fight. And then when you go back to self-defense and you go back to women, there's zero other martial arts out there that are training when you're already continually training, like constant training, when you are in the worst case scenario on your back with your legs spread and somebody in between them.
Yeah, all the girls
Nobody
that
else
ask me,
isn't
they're
drilling
like,
that.
"What's the best self-defense?" I'm like,
No martial
jiu-jitsu.
arts doing that. Krav Maga's not teaching you
100%
that.
jiu-jitsu.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, for your, like your daughters and your wives, get them into jiu-jitsu.
This is the move of the week. Okay, it's the move of the week and you never revisit for 8 months later.
Let me ask you a question, Bruce. How many, since you started, let's just use jiu-jitsu. Since you started jiu-jitsu, I'm doing the thing I said
Yeah,
not to
you're
do.
like leaning back. Yeah.
How many fights how many street fights, bar, room brawl, anything have you gotten involved with since you started jiu-jitsu?
Zero. I first of all, I'm at a point now where I'm
Me?
calm.
Yeah.
None.
I would think, because like hospital, there's something happening like with like, they're doing some training for like nurses in hospitals, or like jiu-jitsu is great for nurses, right?
Yeah,
Sometimes you have to hold
so
somebody down.
we had-
See, I've had to restrain
So
people. I
we
haven't
had-
fought. I've had
Yeah.
to restrain people twice, but I have never fought anybody since I've started training jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
So we
I
had
have a point to this, but
we had a guy come out at my hospital, and he's like, "Oh, I'm going to show you guys how to do some self-defense stuff, this and that." And I'm like looking at him like, So I went to my manager. I'm like, I think I should be doing this.
yeah.
I'm like, I'm the black belt.
What background did that person have? If
Nothing.
anything, nothing.
Nothing.
He just
No.
went to some class and
He was in
maybe
the
on-
army, and a little basic stuff here and there, but it's not practical. It's not
Yeah.
realistic. A lot of these self-defense classes that I see and I watch, I'm like, no, it's not practical.
Yeah.
I've had women that have been to my class and have used the stuff that I've taught them, and I've gotten feedback on it. I'm like,
Yeah.
that's when you know something's gonna work.
I've had
Unfortunately, when you're in that situation and you do a move, I'm like, okay, shit, this shit's working.
Yeah. I've had fights before jiu-jitsu as an adult man, not my fault, not starting fights, but breaking up something and then getting caught up and it happened. As soon as I started jiu-jitsu, it never happened again. Because I'm like, if there's something happening over there, I'm over here. Unless it's like helping somebody, like I'm thinking like the clubs that I was going to and things like that. Like, no, there's no need for me to go get involved with that. I'm going to be over here. I think that, martial arts, one of the things it taught me was you don't know who else knows. You don't know who knows
Absolutely.
it. You don't know
Mikey
who
Musumeci, you
knows
look at that guy,
what.
right? You're like, oh, I'm gonna mess with him.
I believe
But the jiu-jitsu culture of the world, we know not to, but somebody else, they see him, right?
My training partners, doctors, dentists, attorneys, you could not, if they didn't have cauliflower ear, you'd have no inkling
idea.
that they know anything.
Yep.
And just that, like, I know this, and then besides that, then I don't want to hurt
Jiu-jitsu
somebody.
has taught us not to stereotype.
Yeah.
Right.
Be very careful who you engage with, and then in
Exactly.
Florida, on top of it,
Oh,
everybody's
yeah.
got a weapon
Oh,
on
my
top of it,
God.
right?
sure,
Yeah.
stay
But
strapped or get
don't,
clapped.
don't get involved.
Yeah.
Unless it's, I've got to help somebody that's, being hurt and like it's obvious I need to help them. But like two knuckleheads fighting over there, I'm not getting involved with even breaking that up. Let whoever, I'm at a club, I'm at a bar, let somebody else
I always
break
say
that up.
the worst place to start a fight is at a jiu-jitsu tournament. Sometimes I sit down
And it happens.
No, like our last tournament that we went to, it's like they almost like came to blows, and it was two black belts from like opposing schools because like the ref made a call, this and that. Then they start arguing, then the whole team comes. I'm like, oh shit.
The funniest part about jiu-jitsu tournament fights is nobody does jiu-jitsu. They start punching and kicking right away.
Right? I've seen somebody get knocked out at a tournament. Somebody balled his fist up. I'm like, you're a black belt.
A couple of years ago, this guy came out with a knife at the IBJJF up in like Jersey. I forget the guy's name. I don't even want to say his name, but like he pulled a knife. Yeah. They're like, hey, we're not even doing jiu-jitsu. Then we're also the ones being like, yeah, jiu-jitsu does work in the streets. And then nobody uses it. All right, let's start to wrap it up.
Yeah.
I'm going to not do the drill down. We
Okay.
talked about it a lot, so we're not going to do the drill down today. But I did want to give you guys an opportunity to, if you have any sponsors, anybody you want to, again, we could shout out the gym, give the address, give your Instagrams. I'll remind you along the way. But do you guys have anybody that you want to thank, say hello to? This is your time. You both have a couple of minutes to do that if you want.
Shout out to Fuel Fitness. We're partners with them. That's their gym, and we want to thank you guys for the opportunity. Shout out to Ashley and Otto. Ashley she does everything, and
Your right-hand gal, huh?
Oh my God,
Yeah.
she
love
does
and appreciate
everything,
you.
bro.
Yeah.
Everything.
Yeah, she made these awesome designs.
Yeah.
Otto's amazing. He coaches the kids for the MMA on Tuesdays and Thursdays, and they're absolutely loving it.
What time's your class?
7 o'clock.
For kids?
Well, it's not kids. It's teens.
teens.
Oh, teens?
Yeah.
At 7?
Yeah, 7.
On what
yeah.
days?
7,
Tuesdays and Thursdays.
7 to
Okay.
8:30 Tuesdays and Thursdays.
And go ahead and give them the address again. If you have it, you have to bring it up on your phone.
I think I got to
So
bring
Plantation, if you Google Ohana
Ohana Jiu Jitsu Academy. Yes.
Yeah.
You can follow us on Instagram also, guys. Give us a like. Give us a follow.
What is it? Is it the whole name? Ohana Jiu Jitsu Academy?
Ohana Jiu Jitsu Academy.
Ohana
Yes.
Jiu Jitsu Academy.
Awesome.
As far as shout outs go, it's like the truth is, since we embarked on this in February, I couldn't even quantify and say, hey, this is how much support, so it's not enough to shout out everybody. Everybody knows who
they are?
Everybody knows who they
Yeah.
know, and they know that we can't be doing what we're doing. We can't be sitting here with it. It's like this doesn't belong to us. You know what I'm saying? This is like, we're just in charge of it. So
Yeah.
the whole team's behind us.
You had a great school, man. You had a great group of people.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
Men, women,
Their family.
teens.
Yeah.
So
It was a great school, great environment.
thank you.
Yeah, it gave me a very warm welcome. I appreciate that.
Absolutely.
Warm.
Let me know.
Warm welcome,
Yeah, we're
right?
definitely a
Very
warm welcome.
warm.
Love
Good
to,
vibes.
Don't
good
come
vibes.
looking for AC, guys, because we don't got
Good
none of that.
vibes.
We don't got none of that.
love to do it
You brought
again
awesome
one day.
vibes. Yeah, we'd love to have you
man.
again.
Yeah.
Anytime. Everybody loved you. Everybody loved the
Yeah.
north-south choke.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
I said, it was a great technique. It was a great experience.
I've got there's other things that I do from that position that
I learned a lot,
non-north south,
too.
but yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. Thank you. That was awesome.
Unlock the power of your online presence with Black Belt Digital Marketing. Their reputation management program ensures your Google business profile seen by more potential customers. Black Belt Digital Marketing is your full-service digital marketing agency specializing in local SEO and reputation management. Boost your business today. Visit bbdigitalmarketing.com. Your success is their priority.
Special thank you to the crew over at Flow and Roll for all their support. Flow and Roll is renowned for their incredible no-gi rash guards, shorts, and leggings. Flow and Roll has quickly become the premier custom apparel provider for academies big and small throughout the United States. Reach out today to discuss your custom order and ask about their incredible pre-order program. You can send an email to flowandroll@gmail.com or visit their Instagram at flow_n_roll and shoot them a direct message. And yes, they can create an awesome custom gi for your academy as well. Visit flowandroll.com to check out their awesome designs, and while you're there, pick up a Jiu-Jitsu Dummies signature tee exclusively at flowandroll.com. And remember, you'll get 20% off your purchase of t-shirts, rash guards, or gis with code JJD.
So, all right. So I'm just going to do a little bit of housekeeping here. Shout out to combatcbds.com. 20% off with code JJD. Thank you to BioPro, bioproteintech.com. You get 30% off with code JJD on their regularly priced kits, like these two kits here. What is it? $299 and $99. But any orders over $295, you get $30 off with code JJD. The BJJ box is back as well. I did get a box. I'm going to open it on the next episode. So you can check them out at thebjjbox.com and get $10 off your first box with code JJD10. Check us out on Jiu-Jitsu on Instagram at Jiu-Jitsu Dummies. You can see all the ways to watch, listen, and support. Check out Academy Safe on Instagram for our just updates as to what's going on as we grow. The GoFundMe link is there as well. Please, again, not just asking for donations, but please share it. Let's make sure that we get this word out. That GoFundMe has a really good explanation. If anybody wants to know what the hell are these guys doing, I laid it out really nice there, and Rob's going to be coming down to do a podcast, and we're going to put together a video that explains what we're doing as well, so there's going to be a nice GoFundMe video. So again, at Jiu-Jitsu Dummies, TikTok, we're at Jiu-Jitsu or Jiu-Jitsu Dummies podcast. I think that's it. You can check me out at Uncle Milty BJJ on Instagram as well. Go ahead and give your. Do you give your personals or just Ohana?
Yeah, I don't even know what my personal is.
It's
Momo loves jujitsu.
You can't forget that.
Yeah.
Momo. I think when you came to the school, people started to call you Momo. I think
Yeah.
even Eddie called you Momo. He's like, no, it's Monique, right?
Yeah, Momo loves jujitsu.
And Bruce is Bruce. Your last
Bruce
name
Quach
underscore
ATT.
yeah.
Bruce Quach underscore ATT.
There you go. Check them out. Thank you everybody for watching and listening.
Thank you, everyone.
Peace, love, jiu-jitsu.
Don't wash your belt. We didn't get to it. Don't wash your belt.
Never
Don't wash your belt.
Thank you guys. I appreciate it. All right.